Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Element event. We are getting close to the finals for this Fusion tournament. This is qualifier number 7. 2 more events to go, and how are you feeling today, OSK?
Man, I'm feeling good and I'm feeling beefy. Before we started this nice little stream here, I did some 50 push-ups. We got the brunch in, we got the coffee, we got all the water. Man, I'm feeling so good. We got a lot of action coming for you guys today. Plenty of great teams that we've been seeing in scrims perform pretty well. And man, I think we're in for a good show. I really do. Plays. We have to talk about this fill-in that just came in. I'm gonna let you take it away with that. We have brand new team hopping right in.
Yeah, well, a brand new team is a different way to put it, considering this is a team consisting of Player 2, Megaverse, and Chaos. They are filling in for Team Exquisite, which was Cap and Happy's squad. It's unfortunate. I'm not exactly sure what happened to Cap and Happy's team and why they weren't able to play today, but nonetheless, we got an exciting fill-in. That is Team Dark Horse with those 3 players we just mentioned. OSK, I got to ask you, does that team take the cake for your favorite to win today's event?
I have to be honest with you, man. I believe that it does. We have between all these 3 players, these are the 3 carries from their particular squads that they normally go with. You have Chaos from Team KW, you have Player 2 from Team SDK, and you have Megaverse from his team as well. And they're very well known in the community for the amount of skill that they can show in these sort of environments, and they are just packing with the exiles and the damage. So this is definitely, if they can coordinate very well, going to be a team to watch out for. But another one I want to bring to your attention here, we'll call this my pocket pick, so to speak. I've been talking a lot about Pepega Dragon, Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. We have Bullcut, Ilya, and Lovell, and I had the pleasure of casting those Thursday scrims for you guys. And let me just tell you, these are some of the best players that I've seen in scrims. They have a lot of coordination. Bullcut in particular made himself known on that toxicologist that he likes to run. Ilya was not a part of that squad, but Lovell was. And together they were really doing a great job kind of navigating the lobby and really putting some silence up to their competition. So watch out for those 2 teams. Those are going to be my 2 picks. I believe that you have 2 different ones, though.
Yeah, and they also have a very insane logo. I saw the Pepega Dragon logo. We
Yeah.
might be able to pull that up on stream, but we'll have to double check. We'll just keep that in the pocket. That is probably going to be a no, though. But yeah, we got some cool teams, and I got one in the pocket myself as well. This is Team Argentina, all from South America. One of my favorite trios to watch. I'm really hoping for them to pull out some great matches. I know they have the talent to do it. I've seen them play scrims and pop off. So that's my team in the pocket, Team Argentina. Got them going for this one. And we also got Team Dark Horse, like you mentioned. That might be the favorites, but there are some contenders. I'm excited to see this
Definitely.
qualifier, OSK. This one could be yet another nail biter like the one we had last week.
Oh, definitely. And I'm going to be looking at Dapper Fellows as well. We have Hermaeus Mora up here, Creeps, Goldira, or Goldir rather. There's are going to be some good players to watch out for. Really, we have a whole slew of players to watch out for. I could really name all 30 of them. They are just all so good with the 10 teams that they are running. Now, of course, there can only be one winner of the $30 that we're giving out today. We cannot forget $30 going to first place, 10 per person as part of that sponsorship from Proletariat down in your bottom right. Thanks again so much, guys. It really means a lot for you to come out and support Element that the way that y'all are as the premier competitive scene here in Spellbreak. And of course, we can't forget about that prize there at the end, $1,500 prize pool for our finals. It'll be interesting to see how the scores stack up, whether or not any of these teams will get into that final top 10 that we are so happy to bring to you guys here in the next 2 weeks. But of course, we have to keep the topic on today. We're going to be looking for a lot of these plays coming out. I personally have not seen Dark Horse play together at all during scrims, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to stack up with the particular loadouts that they decide to run. But we'll be looking at, of course, the other teams as well. And I want to bring to your attention here, despite ARG being from South America, they actually won a scrim on Thursday. I believe it was either game 5 or game 6. So they can definitely pull one out if you give them the opportunity to. So keep that in mind as we're going into these games. They definitely have a shot to win.
Yeah, and we got a little bit more time here before game 1 starts, so I might as well bring up
Yeah.
yet another team for you guys to keep an eye on. I know most of you guys are part of the community and you know a lot of these players, but for anybody who doesn't, I want to mention Naken Klatscher. Very hard name to pronounce there for myself, but nonetheless, that is a very good squad to see. It's M-Dash, Ioder with I, and Shaco. All 3 of them are EU players. I'm excited to see them come out today. Like you said, OSK, we have a diverse lineup of teams coming out to play, and I'm excited to see the result. Just had to bring one more squad to your guys' attention. OSK, do you have anything else? Because I do think we're about to get into the first match. Anything else you want to review before we start off today's games?
Man, one more squad I want to bring your attention that did pretty well Thursday will have to be Shays Blaze. It's going to be Voosh, Tekyo Cookies, and Delicious Wet Fish. Two of these players are going to be on console, so it'll be interesting to see how they stack up with our primarily PC players. And they actually have one member from EU. So for one of them, they do have a bit of a safeguard against that ping difference that we're going to be getting into on the second half of this tournament. So we'll see how that stacks up for them. Now, it'll be very, very interesting to see because we saw on qualifier number 5 and qualifier number 6 a bit of foresight coming out. One of those new talents that nobody has really picked up yet. I personally believe that it's a little bit sleeper OP in squads, and they finally discovered that there in qualifier number 5, qualifier number 6. So it'll be very interesting to see if there's any adjustments between the game plans of all these teams coming out. That'll be something to look for. Who utilizes that talent, if at all, and if they do, how they're able to navigate around some of these multi-team environments.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear. I mean, I can't wait to see exactly the compositions we see put together. We're going to get dropping in just a second here. So get ready for these first matches. Remember, we have 8 total games to play today. This is just the first game. First 4 games will be played on NA. The back 4 are played on EU. So that is what OSK is referencing when he's talking about the ping difference and about these players switching from those servers, having a bit of an effect on the gameplay. Going to be interesting to see the results of that. Also, quickly, while we're getting into this game, I think this qualifier might be one of the most spread out in terms of where the players are from. It's a split between EU, NA, and we have some South American players in Argentina. So that's a very interesting little set we got going. Sometimes the events have mostly NA teams, and it's exciting to see this one be a little bit different, a little bit more split up.
Yeah, and as we say that, we're going to hop right into game number 1. Getting the action started early is going to be Team Dark Horse. They already have a few exiles to the name there. We do see Megaverse in the kill feed getting a nice little disruption with player 2 on the cleanup with a toxic slap. And Megaverse actually slapping someone out of the HoloLens. That's Tariq. Determinator going to go ahead and be sent out by way of Noodle. So interesting shenanigans going to be coming in. Looks like we only have 2 members of that first team we were talking about here, Team Dapper Fellows. So be interesting to see just how that kind of shaked out. But we have Level on the Pyromancer getting some action started out early. Going to be punished quite a bit for his mispositioning there, and Tiger 2K will make full use of that. Going to go ahead and disrupt them out early.
Yeah, Tiger 2K gets the drop onto Lavelle, so now Papega Dragons have to move backwards here and try to make a decision. As you see in the kill feed, though, Chaos is picking up more disruption, so this game is starting off hot. Ilya does get the disrupt as well, or he gets disrupted, I'm sorry. As you see the rest of the team drop, Dark Horse gets a kill with the kill feed, and Lavelle looks like he's just going to be crawling around in orb as he waits for his final teammate to fall. Tiger 2K putting in work on that fight right there. You see his setup with the Toxicologist. Obviously, this early in the game, you can't really tell exactly where he's going with his build, but he's got that flight double stacked, and he picked himself up 2 nice kills early in this event.
Yeah, definitely. One of the teams we didn't mention before we get started here, really want to make sure that the name's out there. Team Easy Clap, really making some easy work of that first team of Pick a Dragon, Pog Cannon. They're already out of the tournament so far. Thankfully, we're only going to count the 6 best games out of 8, so that is definitely going to be a throwaway game for them. We'll have to see how that plays out here going into the later stages of this tournament, but for the moment, looking like Tiger 2K rocking a true flex build. We have the long range on Frost. We have the close range encounters going up with Toxic, and of course some opportunity for Outbreak. We'll see how they rotate in coming into these later zones. It won't be until that second zone comes up that he will have the Outbreak. So probably have to play a little bit safer for now, a little bit more aggressive going in. And I would have to imagine with Rykota and Stackery, there has to be some sort of knowledge potion funneling going on. That's usually what you want to do whenever you have a toxicologist on your team, is you want to get them as many knowledge potions as possible. That is your playmaker, and if you can give him all the tools to make plays, man, it's going to be a rough day for the enemy squads.
Yeah, for sure. Now we see the rest of this team, they're just rotating through the storm. They won't have too much trouble on them already in, and they don't have to worry about that circle closing in on them. They most likely will just wait for a team to come to them, maybe picking that fight if they can. It's unfortunate that they don't have a conduit player, though, because conduits generally do very well at fighting teams coming in the storm towards them. You're forced to walk into a conduit player with full stacks. You might just get shredded. Nonetheless, this team is going to do what they can on the edge here. We're going to wait to see where action is. We get over to Team Dark Horse. So this was the team that we were discussing. They filled in for Team Exquisite. Going to be exciting to see these 3 players come together for these games. OSK, you mentioned that they haven't really scrimmed as a full unit yet. They are all really great individual players, but it's going to be crazy to see how they come together as a team.
Man, I can tell you right now, I would wager that most of these guys on this squad can probably take a 1v2, at least in the solo environment. So it's going to be interesting to see how that stacks up between all these coordinated teams and squads. I do believe that they have a decent shot to win, though, given that their comms tend to be on the better side, especially from player two, tends to be very, very detailed and very, very pragmatic. So I do believe that they'll have a little bit of luck in that regard. Megaverse going to go ahead and try to get some focus mana stacks up, and we're going to see Chaos trying to land this long range damage. Megaverse, though, is going to be doing a little bit of landscaping, trying to get this enemy team's health down, and it looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it so far. No Exile sealed out just yet, but as I say, that player two is going to come in with the rotation. That's one down and two more to go. Chaos looking for any sort of frost he can try to land. That's going to be a good one. Lando is going to go down, and now we have just one more target, but it will be player two again on Swift Turtle. Going to take him out. That's going to be Team Spellboys out of game one.
Yeah, look at that. Dark Horse just making it look so easy on that engagement. We get right over to Team Argentina, though. No time to discuss the plays coming out from Team Dark Horse. We got Joker right on the front side, so close to finishing the kill with the Shockwave, but his opponent teleports out. Now ARG Joker is just left to watch the wreckage. His teammate does finish the Exile. Believe that was just a hold down of the F key. And Tiger 2K is once again in the kill feed, so this player is not stopping his attack. In game one, OSK, a lot of aggressive plays coming out, and I hope that sets the tone for the rest of today's qualifier.
Man, I would certainly hope so. It's always nice to see a lot of action here. Makes it easy to cast, makes it easy to watch, and at the end of the day, everyone wins with that going on. And we do see on Team ARG, looks like we do have a little bit of funneling trying to happen here. The Finders Keepers is on Joker, so we'll have to see who he decides to funnel all of his knowledge potions into, if he does find any. Looks like we'll find just another stack of recovery. And now we have Voosh. It's going to be Team Shays Belays coming right in. A pretty well-known toxicologist from the scrims that we normally see. And it looks like Takeo Cookie's going to take out Minty Fresh already. We do have the Frost in the offhand, so we'll have to see if he can land any sort of damage. But that's going to be Takeo Cookies again, getting Hakusa. He is out of this particular lobby, but there will be a quick res coming up. So again, it'll be a 2v3 situation. And looks like this team of Team Shays Belay is going to try to land any sort of thing that they can here. We do have Delicious Wet Fish going to go ahead and go down. Maybe a little bit of contribution from that Dragonfire that just came out. Voosh having to back up, get a little bit of a reset, and this might be the turn of the fight. We'll have to see how this plays out,
Yeah, Voosh is now going to just go for the assassination, but it seems like he lost his opponent in the trees, goes for the snipe, but can't quite connect. It's unfortunate because we saw Voosh actually miss the res. He saw his opponent getting resed at the very last second, not enough time to disrupt that once again. So the other team looks like they might get away with this one. Unfortunate right there. Voosh did a good job of fighting off that first team, throwing a nice DF to get the initial disruption, but it's just a little bit more map awareness would have been able to finish off that kill. Nonetheless, though, his team stays alive. They will have more shots in this game to make more plays. We got to give them credit as they're still full HP, full armor, and OSK, they're still looking to fight. Hits a nice little ice into the side of this building for 45. His opponent will rotate out, and it looks like they're going to take the fight. Voosh dodging a boulder now, missing the first snipe as well, but this is just blowing up in his face. Nice shot through the fire to connect on another target. Voosh is still full HP, full armor, as he now just keeps working these angles, getting up onto the high ground. Shadow Steps are in the pocket. He's ready to go, looking for this one more shot, but he can't quite get it to connect. His team is doing a good job of just strafing on the top of this hill, but it's lasting too long, OSK. The third party might come through, but ladies and gentlemen, look at the kill feed. Megaverse has just gone down to ARG Juanchito, so there's multiple fights happening at once right now.
Yeah, and this squad that they're up against here doing a great job of keeping Team Shays Belays on the back foot. That's Green Slots doing a great job of taking advantage here. Now that's Voosh getting just a little bit of health left over on that snipe, so he will have to follow that up very quickly if he wants to seal this one out. But they're doing, again, a great job of holding down their position, keeping Shays Belays on the back foot, not really able to make any proactive plays. Voosh is having to burn his rune charges in more of a defensive way as opposed to landing any outbreaks, so doing a great job of keeping him off balance. Now we have Voosh going to try to get a little bit of damage coming out. We do have a little bit of an advantage in the health department. Voosh is looking to make that advantage a disruption, but it's not looking like anything's going to be happening anytime soon. That Fortitude, as you saw, was going to block any sort of CC coming out from that lightning strike. So that's a good talent selection for this particular build. Voosh trying to get a risky reset off, trying to land a snipe that's going to miss due to the shadow step of the opponent. And now it looks like we're just playing Ring Around the Rosie, or rather Ring Around the Tower. but that is going to be a nice little finish. Delicious Wet Fish actually going to seal out the Exiles there on green slots. It must have slipped my mind in the kill feed there. Delicious Wet Fish and Takeo Cookies doing some excellent work, and Voosh is just watching the fireworks.
Yeah, those two are just representing the PS4 community coming out here, getting some nice exiles in the center of this castle. It does look like there's another opponent lurking around, though. Voosh is just being cautious as we get over to another fight. This is ARG in an extended engagement. Juanchito dropping a little bit of frozen alacrity, trying to help his team rotate out of this situation. 18 people left in the game, so the circle will collapse on these players, and there may be some major fights. This has been quite a fast-paced first game, though. Don't know exactly how this is going to affect the composition of the final circle. Looks like ARG is just fine to walk away from this one, get their pots up. Wasn't too big of a tight situation, as they're just going to rotate, and Juanchito's going to drink up here.
Yeah, and Juanchito definitely needs to find a higher rarity Frost. That has to be priority number one. That Ice Prism scales off a percentage of your damage dealt, and of course, with bigger base damage values, that's more increased damage that you can funnel into Juanchito. So definitely needs to find a better Frost. That uncommon's not going to age very well going into late game. So we'll have to see how they can sort of adjust their loot route here. It is a little bit unfortunate that they are this late in the game. You can see a nice little snipe coming out, and you can also see the down arrow on his opponent there. That's a clear indication that he does have harmony on this particular fighter. So we'll have to see if they can make an adjustment around there. Definitely don't want to be landing any flash freezes on him, as it will do absolutely nothing. But we're going to be switch on over to Team Dark Horse, as Megaverse is actually getting pretty low. That increased damage on the focus mana not going to be able to really provide any advantage for the recovery that we need to see coming his way. So maybe he'll look for a quick little reset. Maybe he'll look for some outside damage coming out. Doesn't have any long range, so he definitely has to play up close and personal. Going to be a little risky going into the late game, and you can see in their inventory not really running very many resources left. So we'll have to see if they can safely rotate. Definitely going to be a difficult task, but if any team is to do it, I would imagine Team Dark Horse would be. Now rotating around the eastern side of Halcyon, they do see a fight breaking out. This could be a prime opportunity to get a cheeky third party going, and they might find resources off of this engagement.
Yeah, Megaverse hitting some massive boulders. Now you see the fight just breaking down. Player 2 is up on the front side, taking a lot of damage as well. Megaverse is just flesh. SK Shaco gets the pick, and now Megaverse is down to orbs. Dark Horse is in a tough situation. Player 2 does get the disrupt on the M-dash. OSK, you called this. It's a tough rotation, and they actually ran into multiple teams. Chaos is now going for the res. You see the comms coming out as Player 2 gets disrupted, but Chaos does too. Oh. And that will be the end of Team Dark Horse's run in Game 1. Watching Shaco now, we can't be sure that there's not more teams around. 14 people left in the game, and Halcyon looks to be the center of the circle, getting right over to yet another fight. We see Delicious Wet Fish on the ground, and the loading screen popping up as Stackery is also in orb. OSK, the chaos is just everywhere in this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little bit less than Flash. A little line you like to throw out quite a bit, but now we're in orb form. Walking on Sunshine a little bit underneath this arch. Stackery will have to do a good job of keeping away from the action while at the same time trying to get a good path for his teammates here, but the comms have to be coming out from this other orb that we do have an enemy orb here pretty close. Raikkoda doing the best he can to try to eliminate the possibility of that res coming out, but I don't believe it'll be enough. I believe that we're going to be back to a 2v3 situation. Raikkoda having to rotate off, but is under a lot of fire here. The quick crouch actually going to make him avoid the damage off of that frost. That was really close, but I do believe that the efforts are in vain here. We have a full squad coming out. Oh, this is going to be really close. I'm not sure if he can make it out of here. He's on a 2 HP. He has to get out, but that's a boulder from ARG. Going to seal that one out, and now we have a full squad versus another full squad. ARG from South America. Going to go ahead and try to rotate around this final zone, and it is closing. That's a lot of damage going to be coming out. They have to be very careful. The resources are in the pocket. Karuru's making that thirsty work. Always thirsty for some more potions, always thirsty for some more armor shards, feeding his team as he is restoring everything that he has. Now we have Karuru on the outside part. We do have a 4-squad engagement here. You're going to have to see if they can seal anything out anytime soon. Karuru doing a great job of keeping the pressure up, trying to get some third-party action going on. Has to be careful not to overextend, though. This team is on the lookout for any of these engagements. Finds himself a nice hiding spot. This will be a quick reset into the action plays.
Yeah, nice way to get a little bit more pots out. Karuru now is still back to chunk, though the storm took so much off of his HP. Does find yet another spot to reset, trying to get his team to come around him as well. Throwing out the boulder doesn't connect it, though. And Juanchito does get disrupted. There's only 2 members of ARG still left up. Oh my goodness, Karuru getting into the wrong spot here, trying to get his way back out. Accidentally looks like he clipped through the wall. Good on him for not spending too much time in that area, trying to get back to the action. Now we see ARG Karuru trying to save his teammates' life. Look at the burst! Karuru just laying you down, but doesn't get any final disruptions. He might go for the res after putting out so much damage. His teammate Joker does get a disrupt onto Ioter, and this fight is going crazy. Karuru just threw out about 175 damage.
Oh my goodness, that's such a huge number here, and that's the strength of running Stone as an offhand, is that you can combo with those boulders coming out, and that's exactly what Karuru is doing so well. Now he's going to have to look to rotate up to this next little engagement here. Has a prime opportunity to land some fireballs if he can find an open area. And Team ARG fully up right now. Juanchito has to be a little bit careful in the health department here, but we do have 3 teammates. Now we have 1 floater there in the sky along with a full squad, so it has to be a little bit careful here. Joker looks like he found them out, takes a little bit of damage for his troubles. That's going to be Ioter actually getting a lot of damage off the Juanchito. He is down. It looks like Joker's very, very close. Karuru is in the zone, but does a nice job of recovering here. And his Thirsty, as of right now, is going to be a little bit useless here. There is no resources back, so it looks like it'll just be Karuru here for this final fight. Let's see how it plays out for him. Just needs a quick fireball to get, and it looks like he did. ARG is going to win game 1 off of the zone exile, and that is going to be a nice result for them going forward.
Yeah, that was a very, very ideal set right there for Team ARG. That was quite a fight, though, OSK. A lot could have gone wrong for the team right there. Nonetheless, Team Argentina getting a very beautiful dub in game 1. We got 7 games left to go, though, ladies and gentlemen. Tons of action to happen. But give me a quick breakdown on why exactly you think ARG was able to keep control of that final circle.
I think it's just a really good job of keeping calm here. They play to their strengths. They know that they don't really have to overextend all that much. They were doing a great job of keeping as a team, and that's kind of what you have to do coming from off server. You do have to make sure that your coordination is on point if you're going to be playing on 100, 200 plus ping from South America. So I do believe that that is really what carried them to victory. The comms are there. The coordination is there. They do a very good job of staying in a group, even in those chaotic situations. And let's talk about Karuru there, because he was doing a really good job of playing to his strengths. He has that stone offhand. He did about 175 damage, as you mentioned there, between the stone and the fire, and doing just all around a really good job of staying calm. Like I said, staying within the zone. Don't really need to do anything too drastic. Let the other players make their own mistakes and let them kind of defeat themselves in a way. But great job from ARG, just keeping the coordination up. And like I said, just playing to their strengths, not doing anything too drastic. They're not doing anything that they don't have control over.
Yeah, ARG with a beautiful start to the set right there. Got to give a bit of credit to Karuru too. I'm sure there was some temptation once he clipped in that wall with all his pots. I'm sure for a half second he's thinking this is a free reset, but no, he came back out like a good sport, jumped back into the fight, and almost got disrupted for it as well. So did get a nice bit of burst, as like you're mentioning, onto somebody trying to disrupt his teammate, or exile, I should say. And a nice fight to end it. I do love that final circle zone as well. That was very, very interesting to see the wall of Halcyon Cathedral, everything incorporated on the side there. Always fun when you get a final fight like that. We are waiting for game 2 to start. As you guys all saw, ARG took the dub, but please throw exclamation mark scores to see where the rest of the teams lined up. Because we should mention that although Team Dark Horse didn't get into that final fight, they had quite a few exiles and a lot of damage before that happened.
Yeah, especially a lot of damage coming out of the way of player 2 there. Looks like we're just over 1,000 damage on his particular screen here. So that's very good for them. Of course, those placements it's looking like those placements are going to matter quite a bit, as we did have Team Dark Horse going out in 7th, which isn't exactly a good placement for that game. So really it's the damage and the exiles playing a big factor into that one. We'll have to see if they can improve that going into games 2 through 4, as they are primarily in a team. I believe they're fully in a team, actually. So they will definitely have to take advantage of the lower ping while they can. So definitely have to bump those rookie numbers up, as so to speak. But let's talk about Team Nackenslasher here. That was the last team to to survive there besides ARG. They were doing surprisingly really, really well. Had a decent amount of exiles here, actually matching the exile number coming out from Dark Horse, and an even better placement. So definitely can't count them out either.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about them before the first game. We mentioned them as a team that could come in here and put in some work, and look at that. They really did. Ioder especially really surprised me with the way he popped off in all of those fights, did not let the pressure get to him, was so close to getting the disrupt onto Karuru, but couldn't quite finish it. Nonetheless, a really good round from them as well. We talked about this as well in the pre-show. This is going to be a super close contest, ladies and gentlemen. All of these teams have potential to win some of these matches. It is not a one-sided event. Dark Horse does look positioned as a set of individuals to take it, but look at the teamwork coming out from ARG. They really, like you said, stayed compact, stayed tight, got reses where they could, reset where they could, and that's the key to these trio events, is how do you play as a unit?
Yeah, definitely. And like we said, the playing as a unit is going to be very, very important here. We have to have the coordination going on. You definitely have to stay as more of a group. It's really important to get your rotations down, because if you're too spread out, if you even rotate off without one person's full knowledge of where you are going, that is just another opportunity for the enemy squad to single out that target. And whenever you can really nail down who you're going to focus on one by one by one, it's going to be very difficult for the enemy squad to really counter that, as 3 sources of damage going towards one person, definitely a lot different than 1v1v1. So definitely have to keep that in mind. And also, it'll be interesting to see how the rotations play out this time. It didn't really look like there was a concerted effort to really strategize that. It looks more like that we're kind of keeping towards the high ground, yes, but the rotation into the next zone maybe isn't being as highly prioritized as what you would like to see. So we'll have to see who is going to really is going to improve that kind of thinking going into game number 2, and see if they can get some dominant positions and really control that area. But holy hitbox, Batman, as Ilya is just making full use of that mountain here. That shockwave going to land for 44 damage off of that focus mana here. So let's see if he can follow this up with some meaningful damage plays.
Yeah, let's see if he can. He's just trying to get a little bit more. Shockwave lands off the side now. Ilya does get more damage, but his teammate Volcut goes down. They have to try to finish this fight fast. His opponent is so low, just down to flesh. And Ilya needs one more lightning bolt to connect, but it doesn't go. And now he's getting blasted on the backside by some fire. His teammate Lavelle does get the disrupt onto Rykota. And now Ilya is still in this sticky situation. Featherfall up in 2 seconds. But his opponent, I think the Pyro on the hill, is still full HP. You see in the kill feed, ARG Quanchito gets a kill into Eddie Magic. Ilya going back up now, sees all of the orbs on the ground, trying to reposition and make a strategy to go in here. Sees Lavelle get dropped as well. Oh, but he rolls it down the hill like a professional bowler and connects to take the squad wipe. Ilya will res his team, and with a clutch play right there, saves them in game 2.
Man, you're just seeing the power of Stone Shaper out here, landing that perfect strike, coming in, maybe even a turkey there, if he can get all 3 members of that squad exiled there. That was a very, very clutch kill right there, as we did see Team Easy Clap clean them up on the first game. Looks like we'll be hitting back as Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon, and you have to imagine that Dragon's feeling pretty happy with all those members in his belly right now.
Yeah, definitely a great set from them. We'll see them rotate to Ruby Grove now. Not as much action at the start of this game. There was 2 full fights, but compared to game 1, it looks like teams are taking a little bit more path to loot, it seems, OSK.
Yeah, and speaking about loot here, it looks like Ilya just found the God Squad part of loot. We do have the Epic Fire and the Epic Stone coming online, along with this Focus Mana. That's going to be a lot of damage being pumped out. Now I'll have to see if he can find some better boots. That's really the last piece of the puzzle there, as well as his other teammate here. Gonna have to definitely find some shoes at some point. Not rocking any right now on Ilya, just with socks. Man, you gotta get that speed up. Gotta really run faster, jump higher, hit stronger. It's exactly what Ilya is looking to do. Now, there looks like there's not going to be that much action here coming out from the Ruby Grove side of things. Maybe we bounce around and get a little bit more, see if there's anything interesting going on. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, Ilya and his squad doing pretty good getting all the loot up that they can.
Yeah, we also got to discuss that team with Stackery in it. They had a really good game in game 1, so it's unfortunate to see them fall early in this match. That is Team Easy Clap with Tiger 2K and Rakota FB. I was hoping for another big game out of them in game 2, but it looks like that might just be one of the throwaway matches. Nonetheless, they had a really good fight in that set. You saw how close they were to squad wiping Pepega Dragon, but nonetheless, Ilya got away with it down the hill. Now we see ARG rotating no belt for Joker. Very unfortunate. You know for sure he's looking to open some chests and get a little bit more secure with that belt.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like he's doing something with his right hand here, not rotating his camera. Now he's back. Now we're back fully online. Interesting. I'd like the theory craft on what exactly was going on behind the scenes, but nonetheless, we are back on the mouse now. He is looking to rotate off towards this Halcyon area, towards the Halcyon Cathedral part of the map. Finding a lot of loot here. He definitely, look at all the loot he has so far. He only needs one more point in the Finders Keepers to be fully educated. And even then, it's probably something that you would rather funnel into one of your teammates. As, I mean, you don't really need the scrolls in the middle of a fight as far as like trying to find them and get the increased chance. So we'll have to see what they decide to do there. Now we do have Solo Thug 007 going to get sniped out of the sky. This is Lovell coming in here with Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon, really saying, hey, game 1 was a fluke. Game 2 is where we're going to shine. And look at this. We have Soth backing all the way up. I don't believe he's part of our production here. So this is actually a random squad that he is with, but still keeping the practice up, looks like. He will be the remaining member of this enemy team. And we'll have to see if they can seal this one out in a quick fashion. Looks like Six Shot might have an opportunity to get rezzed here. And it looks like we're about to see the Thirst come out. This might be a little bit bad for this random team. Bullcut saying, hey, look at all this loot. I can finally jump in. And that is going to be the full squad wipe, courtesy of Ilya.
Yeah, nice full finish right there from Team Pepega Dragon. They will get those exiles and all the benefits of the loot. Watching now, Bullcut picking up this little bit of extra stuff. Got to make sure they don't get rotated on, though. They are on the edge of the circle, and you know how dangerous that can be depending on the circumstances of the game. 29 people still left in this game. Very few full squad wipes have occurred, and we see Bullcut now spotting out an opponent, Frostborn, trying to take some shots in, but can't quite get them to land. We see that this might be a big spot for rotations, as Bullcut will just stand his ground and actually try to pop more shots off. Can't quite connect, though. Dueling it out with this Frostborn, gets a 66 in the shins, and now he's just going to keep on shooting. Good job for Pepega Dragon to hold strong on this area. Don't want to give it up now as they're going to go forward. Throws out a nice spray. Bullcut just barely taps that opponent and puts down a couple puddles. Now we see Bullcut again going for the attack. Lavelle finishes off Brock, and we see another squad wipe coming together for Pepega Dragon.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately for Bullcut, not able to find the final hits there, but he will find a knowledge potion, as you just saw there. So he's definitely going to be ready for some big damage coming out later in the game. They're actually really close to Team ARG. They might get third-partied here, as looks like they are in the middle of a completely different fight. In the kill feed there, we did see Delicious Wet Fish get a nice little thirst there, as well as Team Dark Horse finishing off a random squad, it looks like. So we'll have to see how that plays out coming into their scores later on, and if they can push this advantage. But now I have to imagine this is Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon, this is Team ARG, and it's going to be potentially, yes, look at Megaverse in the kill feed. He's doing all the work here today, and that is going to be some huge points going his way. Now we have Bullcut 44 and Ilya doing some big damage onto Spellboys, and ARG looking to ruin the fun.
Yeah, they are trying to just get their way in here. ARG now moving forward, gets a beautiful little DF blow up, and ARG Joker is going to go forward again with his Stone Shaper tank build. Vigor and recovery. Look how much HP and regeneration he has as he gets a boulder to land over the side of the hill. But keeping note of what we saw in the kill feed, Megaverse is somewhere going crazy, getting 3 exiles right there as we see 18 people left in the game. ARG Joker does spot out more players, though. Gets his team ready to take this fight, and look at the communication coming out from Team Argentina. ARG Joker does get low, but his team has fully rotated to help him out. This is such good comms, OSK.
Yeah, and if you ever have a question about how good the comms are and how good the coordination is, take a look at that mini-map and see how tightly packed they are in this particular engagement. Also look at how they're keeping the verticality relatively even between all 3 of them. They are doing a good job of keeping their eyesight kind of in the higher position there. They want to get as big a view of the battlefield as much as possible. Looks like they are all opting to sort of rotate off of this third-party engagement. There's too much chaos that can erupt from this, and they're actually going to rotate off to the mountain here. This is going to be such a better position than where they are before, and that's going to really open the door for all of these long-range engagements here with the Frost, with Lightning, if they do have it. And unfortunate for player 2, Lovell is going to set ablaze this Vanishing Mist and he might go down here. This might be a thirst, and it will be. Looks like Ilya cleaning up the kill onto Chaos. That is Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon taking out Team Dark Horse in game 2.
Lavelle has 7 exiles right now. As we get over back to ARG's perspective, no time to discuss what's going on with Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon, as we see Team ARG cleaning up a fight as well. 12 people left in this game. You guys just watched Team Dark Horse fall to Pepega Dragon, and it looks like we might see a very compact final circle. 12 teams left, and they're all pushing to the center. Joker now drinking a couple more pots and getting ready for the second fight, spotting out an opponent, throwing down his sorceries, but not getting anything to land. Now going to rotate, look for the high ground, continuing the comms. You can kind of see them working this one out, deciding, no, we got to rotate off now, take the Frozen Alacrity, get into a new spot, and prepare for the final circle. Nice choices from ARG yet again.
Yeah, and this is what I love about Spellbreak here. There is no silence to be broken. There's action all the time, and you're seeing it unfold right before your very eyes here. Now it looks like Joker looking to get a bit of a high position here, and that's going to be a great job forcing him off the mountain there. No advantage going to be gained from this enemy squad going to be coming out here. It looks like we are stuck on the Featherfall with the conduit going in, but it looks like the position will be taken over by the enemy squad. Joker finding himself a little bit further away from his team than he would like. And this is going to be huge. This is actually big implications coming in, as he needs to stay grouped up with the rest of his squad. And you can see the danger that comes with not being able to do that. Now he's having to rotate out, taking a lot of health damage. Thankfully, he does have the potions to heal that back up and the recovery as well. So it won't be as big of a mistake as it could have been thanks to his tankier build. But man, that could have gotten ugly plays.
Yeah, Joker got beamed in the start of that fight. He was so confident, but then the Frost came in, combining with a Shockwave before it, just got him down to almost nothing. Joker had to rotate into the Storm and wait a little bit. Now his team is going to go back into the action, though. Joker trying to get what he can onto this opponent, but nothing really landing. Funchito is on the front side now, looking for a pot, trying to get another angle. Looks like Joker will follow him. So although they got separated for a second there, it looked dangerous. Joker did get away with it. The team will get a full reset, and ARG still has great chances at taking game 2. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and for anybody who wasn't here in game 1, this squad won the first match, so they could go back-to-back here, which would be more than a great start for Team Argentina.
Man, I'll tell you what, it's going to be really exciting whenever we can finally get some land tourneys going on to see how Team ARG does without the ping that they're having to deal with here. That's one thing to always keep in mind here. Yes, this team is doing great, but they're also doing great while playing from literally Argentina on North American servers. So, man, if the future of Spellbreak ever pops off, you better be watching Team ARG. They could really pop off in a big way. Now let's talk about win conditions here. ARG has done a great job of transitioning to the flatter ground. They need Joker in their squad to really provide the peel that the team desperately needs. And he's doing a great job here. This is a little bit of flatter area than those towers would be concerned. They really don't want to switch off of this area as much as they can really afford to. And that's going to be level going down to a nice bolt, to a nice fireball from Joker. So Pepega Dragon Paw Cannon on a bit of a back foot situation here. Joker doing a great job of peeling for his team, like I did mention before. And we're about to see the small pots come out. Yep, that is exactly what's going to happen. One Cheeto going to go ahead and thirst out level. That will be one member down on Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. Going to see the Shadow Step coming out. That's 2 Shadow Steps. No more runes. No, that's going to be a Knowledge Potion funneled opponent here. So that's just a lot less outbreaks to have to deal with. That's a great job from Team ARG to burn that resource from the enemy team. That threat is now disappeared as Joker looking to really rotate off, trying to protect one Cheeto, the playmaker of their squad. And now looks like they're going to rotate off towards Gritfeld, doing a great job again of just keeping the peel going. Joker, man, you have to imagine right here, Joker has to be the MVP of this squad. He's doing such a great job of playing distraction and really allowing the team to open up the enemy squad.
I mean, Joker's been the MVP of the whole event so far in these first 2 matches. He's putting in the work for his team. As you see him miss a couple crucial fireballs, though, his opponent has fortitude. Now Joker's getting popped on the backside, looking again to turn this fight, but he can't spot out his opponent. Hits a nice shockwave onto the conduit, throws out the boulder as well, but can't quite connect it with a direct shot. Joker does have his spring step. It's only blue, so the cooldown could be better, but nonetheless, he has his setup. We'll see what he can do in this final fight. It should be a 3v3v3 as you see him take down M-Dash. What a flick right there.
The turn.
Joker just making sure he's always aware of where his enemies are. seeing it out now, trying to get his teammates more space to finish off the exile. Joker goes back up to the high ground, looking again for the angles. Karuru finishes off M-Dash. Boulders come out. Joker's just going for it right now. Looking to the front side, tries to flick the fireball, but can't quite get it to connect. More damage will come out, but nothing landing for either player. You see Quanchito and his teammate Karuru in the kill feed taking a lot of damage. OSK, this fight is very close.
It definitely is, but you have to keep in mind here, ARG, while they did have 3 members up just then, it looks like they'll lose one Cheeto there in that unfortunate engagement there. Now, the enemy team's doing a great job of keeping the high ground here. ARG looking to play a little bit safe on the lower ground, but look at this. They're doing such a great job of focusing, and Joker's finding himself in a bit of hot water here. The damage will be enough to go ahead and take him out. The sustain will not keep him alive for too much longer. This is team with Hermaeus Mora here. Dapper Fellows doing a great job of overtaking this advantage here. I don't know what they have in terms of exiles or damage, but they might just have the first place placement coming out. Doing a great job of focusing that one last member of Team ARG. It's going to take one more fireball, and Hermaeus Mora finding these little bitty resets that you can just barely make out. And look at this, we have Team ARG going to go ahead and seal out Iota here. So it's ARG versus Dapper Fellows, and I would have to think that they would have gotten a little bit of res off. So we'll have to see if this is the last member. It's looking like this might be the end for him, and it will be. That's going to be Karuru going down, giving the victory over to Dapper Fellows for game 2.
What a match right there. Dapper Fellows taking a beautiful set, winning against the reigning dub from game 1. They took down ARG, winning themselves a match. Also, I want to note about how satisfying that was. You saw Hermaeus Mora, like you said, drink a quick pot, flick the fireball right after. That is some very clean Spellbreak gameplay coming out from him, and a nice little bit of team play coming out from Dapper Fellows overall. Although the camera angle was stuck on Hermaeus Mora for most of the end of that fight, I got to give credit to Gold Deer as well. He did a really fantastic job keeping the space with Conduit and making sure his teammates were playing off of his damage. Really nice set from them.
Yeah, very nice indeed. Lots of individual plays coming out from Team Dapper Fellows. You can see just what Spellbreak is all about. It's about maximizing your time, whether it be damage or whether it be recovery. And Hermaeus Mora really weaving both of those in expertly, dipping behind the tree, get some quick cover, get a quick little shield going up, always keeping the regeneration going while he also has time to go ahead and land that fireball. So always great to see, but we cannot go through this without mentioning that ARG came out in second place in game number 2. They're keeping the consistency going. They always have a very, very high placement going in here. So we'll keep that in mind going forward, as their score has to be looking pretty good going forward. And we also have to keep in mind here that really Pepega Dragon Paw Cannon, you can see in our score sheet here, if you have it pulled up, plays, they did amazingly in the damage and exile department. Didn't quite get the top 3 finish, finishing in 4th place, but my goodness, over 3,000 damage that game. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. And also 14 exiles to boot.
Yeah, well, we saw Lavelle had 7 exiles to his name when he went down, so that should tell you enough about the story, considering the rest of his team was also putting in that work. But I wanted to bring up another team that surprised us once again in Game 2, and that is Knockenclatcher. They were in there till the final fight. You saw Shaco fall to Hermaeus Mora, but we got to give them credit, OSK. They've come in here and really surprised us with how they've been playing, shaking up some of these fights, taking wins against squads that we would not quite expect in situations that we wouldn't expect. Huge shout out to that team, Knockenclatcher. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I'm probably not. Nonetheless, really great work from them.
That's all right, Blaze. It's your specialty, just mispronouncing a few things here and there, but that's all right. It's a different language. You know, we can make do with what we got here. But yeah, they're doing a great job of keeping their placement up. Game 1, they saw a little bit more exiles than they did in Game 2. They actually didn't get any exiles this past game, but the placement's there. So definitely have to keep that in mind. They're going to be towards the higher end of our score bracket here. Now, I want to bring to your attention here. It looks like we're getting a little bit more data on the Team Dark Horse. They're actually doing pretty well for themselves. Game 1 and Game 2, while they did not get the most favorable of finishes here, their exiles and their damage are keeping up with some of the best here, even surpassing, it looks like, Team ARG for right now. So we'll have to see what those final stats are coming in, but man, they're doing a great job of keeping their placement up. Definitely can't count them out here going into the later games. So while Team ARG might have a comfortable seating here with their placements as well as their damage and their exiles, definitely has some more work to be done in terms of keeping their placement as high as it could be.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And we are reading right now. It's unfortunate that apparently the decision was made to take ARG's points from game one due to that wall clip bug that happened to Karuru. Not
Oh
exactly
man.
sure. That is brutal right there. Just getting the
Yeah,
word
that
on
is
that
brutal.
one. Yeah, that is a real setback for Team ARG considering the game that they had going into that. It wasn't just the one play. But on that note, we'll get right into game three as we see ARG on the camera trying to redeem themselves after that 0 score count in game one. Very unfortunate. Going to have to get more details on that decision for you guys as we see Juanchito moving forward with the Frostborn. Does have a purple wind already, so the damage might be high enough if he can get close. But it looks like his opponents are going to back up completely.
Yeah, you want to talk about having a weak early game. All you need to do is look at Juanchito's kit right now. With the common frost and the wind, man, he's going to be really wanting for some damage here, and no damage mods on his kit as of right now. That will come more late game, but he'll have better rarity coming in. Now looking to just keep the coordination going is Team ARG, looking to land any of these quick snipes that he can, but you can see the common amulet is not going to be doing enough for Juanchito to really keep him from draining all that mana off the frost. Now it looks like we have a bit of a sticky situation going in as we see a lot of toxic puddles being created, and Karuru has to rotate off, get his reset going. And look at that, Juanchito gonna snipe the Featherfall right out of the sky. Now we have a bit of a third-party situation going on. He will find a free moment to go ahead and get a little bit of better loot, but no gauntlets to be had. So we'll have to see how that plays out for him. Going to swap off for the Toxic for that close range engagement. And now we see Joker just really farming up, trying to get a little bit of landscape going, tilling the land, so to speak. And he will find a nice disruption off to level. So we'll have to see how that plays out for Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. What a mouthful is that name. I have to talk to them about that. It's always funny to see the mascot, though. Juanchito going to try to find a quick little rotation off to these next two opponents.
Yeah, and we see they did finish off Lavelle, but now another player comes in to throw a little bit of storm into their party. We see the final little kill might come out here. ARG just trying to adjust. This would be quite a story if after losing all their points in game one, they just dominated the rest of the matches. I'm going to speak that narrative into existence as ARG Joker does finish off Ilya. But Bolcut gets the drop onto Karuru. He will get picked up, and we'll see. But now you see Bolcut also taking out Joker, and this could be a major turn of events for Pepega Dragon right here as we see Joker crawling around an orb. Karuru did get picked up, and he got caught in the cloud, going for the res, and we see Juanchito trying to get up in there. Bolcut 44 goes down, and Juanchito is just taking matters into his own hands.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was actually the correct play coming out from Juanchito here, going through the cloud. It's not that much damage to really take there, maybe a little bit on the shield, but not much else. Now he just needs to seal out this final exile, and he will. That's Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon going to go down to ARG Juanchito. Excellent job, despite the lack of early game strength from the common frost. You can see the power coming out from the rare toxic. It's exactly what he wanted to do. Definitely wanted to push that early advantage off of his offhand gauntlet, and man, what an advantage it was, sealing out the exiles onto Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. Now we're going to have, this is Team Easy Clap, going to try to land a few snipes of their own. They're doing a little bit better on the early game side of things. Definitely have that level 1 skill going. We'll have to see if he can make do with the lack of outbreak coming in. So looks like we're going to be opting for the long range engagements here. Tiger 2K going to opt to really rotate off, try to get a little bit of a better high ground position off of this mountain coming up. A little bit of a frost duel coming out. Tiger 2K will take the losing part of that trade. All of his shields are gone, plays.
Yeah, he is going to just scramble to get over the hill. Now we're bouncing over to a new angle. It's Overdue Distressed in a lot of trouble here. He's getting chased down. One more shot will do it. It's Megaverse for the win, finishing him off, and that is a squad wipe for Team Dark Horse. Look at how healthy they are, ready to take this third party. No worries with that one, as Megaverse just puts in the work on this poor player. Minty Fresh made the wrong choice by coming in too close. Our player 2 does get credited with that one, it looks like, and we see the rest of this squad is going to fall in line. Team Dark Horse just looking to rack up even more score, and they just converge. Look at the coordinated burst coming out.
Oh my goodness, player 2 putting on some damage here onto the streamer mode, saying, I don't know your name, but I don't care. You're out of my lobby either way, as I'm going to slap you out of existence. What a fantastic job from player 2 to make use of his team's rotation and the increased pressure coming out. There's nothing that opponent could have done, honestly. Just 3v1, no. You're going to be exiled one way or another, and player 2 saying, I'm actually player 1, and I'm the one who runs this squad. So great job coming out with the damage output. Now Megaverse, look at the gear on him. He still needs a little bit of more points in the runic fluency, but the extra rune charge will still pay him dividends here. Looking for that epic chest, looking for a scroll to read. It's going to be that body talent. It's going to be even more cooldown going his way, but he's going to opt to switch off for one of his teammates to pick it up here. Maybe there's something going on with Chaos in his kit. Maybe we'll have to rotate off and see what his talents are going to be at a later date. But for right now, we have Stackery going to go dive right into the flash freeze, going to get frozen, but the pressure is too much for the enemy team to make anything out of it. So we'll have to see how this plays out for him, playing the Pyromancer, but it looks like he is getting burned himself. He'll have to rotate off, and this is just 30 HP. It's not going to be enough. That's going to be team, looks like Shays Belays going to take them out.
What a play from Delicious Wet Fish and Takeo Cookies, representing PS4 once again with some beautiful mechanics to take out that squadron. You see 21 players left in the game, and now Delicious Wet Fish looking for his reset, blowing up more fireballs. Look at the damage. This man does not stop as he looks for more flicks. Gets another to connect for 40 damage. Focused Man is helping him out just a little bit.
Well, this is ARG.
Fireball, but we'll see him look forward. This is Team Shays Blaze, as OSK mentioned, and they're looking to make a name for themselves as he dodges out of the way of the fireball. Delicious Wet Fish trying to continue his reign of terror, landing 141, but not getting the other to go. Nice, quick little hit with the ice. Delicious Wet Fish continues. Now going to rotate with the rest of his team. You see the comms coming out, using that side of the crate to block a boulder. This is some great play coming out from Delicious Wet Fish.
Yeah, and I want to say that's a great job to Team ARG here. That was the squad that they are fighting here. I can tell by the skins. They're doing a great job of really peeling off that engagement here, as now we see Team Shays Belays getting caught in the middle of a third-party situation. We saw that other squad coming out from the top of that mountain here. We'll have to see who that is, but now doing a great job of peeling off. Want to reposition, maybe towards the Ruby Grove area. There's a lot more cover in that area of the map, and they have to be keeping in mind that ARG might have already rotated off. I did see a little floater coming in on the top part of Ruby, so they have to keep in mind that there might still be some danger. So Delicious Wet Fish playing this very, very carefully, keeping the high ground here. Probably want to switch off to this bridge. Looks like he'll opt to actually go to the complete other side of this area, maybe on the eastern side. Maybe they take that mountain. Looks like they will. They have pinged out the position, looking to rotate off. Excellent coordination coming in. This is actually going to be Team Dark Horse with the mountain takeover here. And KW just looking to land some shots from afar.
Yeah, KW Chaos just dropping in some fireballs from deep. Some of those charged up with the focused mana buff, but none really landing. They are going to rotate very carefully and patiently across the side here. Megaverse leading the pack at the point, and you see Takeo Cookie still is represented in the kill feed with that fight we watched. 21 people left in the game, and looking at that circle now, we are going to get quite an open field for the final fight just above Lowland Outpost. Chaos now trying to aim down some targets. We see Megaverse still leading the pack at the front side. Chaos takes a little bit of lightning damage. Can't quite trade efficiently, but look at Player 2. Looks like they're flanking right now. Some nice comms coming out as Player 2 looks to get on the backside of this opponent, and they are just working their way around, trying to make a move here. Chaos takes a lot of toxic damage, but thanks to his quick positioning, he'll get back up onto the high ground. Spots out. He's in a great spot to shoot that frost. Can't quite get many shots to land, though, as they continue to push forward. OSK, Team Dark Horse has to be careful about this fight breaking down. Still 21 people left in the game, but they look confident going in.
Man, I'm just really waiting for KW Chaos to really land these shots here. It's going to be, this is definitely what you need to do if you're going to be running this gauntlet here. Maybe if you're not having a good time of it, you can swap off to Lightning to get at least some residual damage, but Frost is such an all or nothing gauntlet that if you're not able to land these crucial shots, it's really just a waste of a hand slot. So maybe a little bit different thinking, maybe just get some quick Kovacs in between games. But man, it's just not working out for him so far. We're going to have to see how that works out for him late game. But Player 2 and Megaverse doing all they can to keep the pressure up. They will force them out of the zone. So this is great rotation coming out from Team Dark Horse. We'll have to see how this lines up here. Trying to land up this snipe one more time. That's going to be some damage. There's the aim that we need. KW Chaos going to land another one. That's 2 in a row. Let's see if he can land some fire to finish this out. But no, he's going to opt for a third snipe in a row. And here's going to be number 4. I can feel it here. Going to get burned for his troubles, though, is the Dragonfire. And Player 2 going to make use of that advantage. Going to seal out M-Dash there. And now we just have 2 squad members to go. Chaos having to keep up with his own here. Megaverse going to take out Ioder. So just 1 more squad member to go. So great recovery from KW Chaos. Really get that aim going. Really get the mechanics there. Nice and solid. And that is going to be a huge advantage going into this final zone.
Yeah, Chaos was just on one right there, landing multiple huge frost shots. Great play from him as we see 18 people left in the game. 2 mana vaults in this circle. I doubt any teams are going to prioritize those considering the action unfolding here. Megaverse is in the storm, taking a bit of damage, but he rotates in with the rest of his squad. Looking at the kill feed though, Hermaeus Mora's team looks to be in a fight as we get over to CARG looking at this angle. Shockwaves coming down, not quite landing. Joker getting right up into the action. This is such a theme of all of these ARG matches. They charge in no fear, but keep themselves positioned and keep themselves communicating so that they don't overextend. We see ARG Joker now getting that full pot. Legendary Wind with Legendary Dash, boosting a boulder up to the front side. We bounce over just in time to see Hermaeus Mora plant an ice shot into the skull of the Swift Turtle. And that's going to be a final finish for them, but they will get third party. Hermaeus Mora now backing up, looking for that Frostborn angle. Almost fractures on the back foot, OSK, but he will get away with it.
Yeah, good job to not dip your foot in too deep into that fracture. We know what happens when you do that. So Hermaeus Mora not going to go back to oblivion. He's still going to land. He's still going to stay here in the Hollowlands in Tamriel for the moment. We'll have to see how the Gardener of Men does rotating off. And I just really love making these Elder Scrolls references. It's a great name. I love it. But anyway, Hermaeus Mora keeping the knowledge up. Going to go ahead and rotate off towards the open area, making great use of that stone there. We see ARG in a bit of a pickle here, trying to get a little bit of damage going off. Karuru going to say, I'm going to get the mini reset going. Going to get that shield all the way to full. But now looking for some damage is he. Going to land some nice damage due to the combust there. It's going to be a great radius off of that fireball. And now maybe some big Dragonfire damage. That's a big AoE coming out. Going to land some nice damage. That's 40 damage onto one of these squad members. And now looking to kind of rotate off, get into this grass, into the flat area where his combust skill can definitely make some great use. Gonna, looks like, rotate off with his squad going in here. Great job keeping the control of this wall. That's really the key to victory in this engagement here. You can just create so much advantage for yourself. Karuru realizing that he doesn't even have to stay here. He is on the front foot. He's doing a great job of landing all this damage. Team ARG is almost full health. We have to keep that in mind. They're doing such a great job of positioning and coordinating.
Yeah, they are dishing out damage while receiving very little, and as easy as that sounds or as simple as that sounds, it is key to these final fights. Karuru is just throwing out fireballs uncontested, doesn't land any from deep, but just puts on that pressure. The rest of his team rotates through. We see, though, that player 2 finishing some kills as well shows that Dark Horse is ready to fight ARG. Ice shots coming in. We don't know if that's Chaos or player 2, but look at them break it through. Karuru will get frozen, but he gets interrupted by the boulder. So low, down to flesh, jumping in. He'll get hit again. Ooh. Player 2 was just in position to take it, and look at the massacre! Player 2 just wiping out Team ARG. Look at it, OSK.
Man, it's a massacre indeed. Saying go back to Argentina. Player 2 is here on the NA servers, and this is who you have to contend with going in. And now we see the big AoE coming out from the Dragonfire. Still has one more charge of Shadow Step to make use of that outbreak, but instead looking for the frost damage. Gonna go ahead and knock all that shield off. Player 2 looking to make some plays. 7 exiles on the day so far. Looking to make it 10. Can we get to the double digits? That's gonna be the big question coming out. Now gonna go ahead and opt for the Vanishing Mist. That's a big outbreak, and that's another disruption. Hermaeus Mora gonna go down. Now we're looking for a little bit more frost damage. Megaverse gonna take out creeps, and this is gonna be the big moment for player 2. Can he get this last little exile? Has the focus mana and power damage. Not gonna land any snipes, but it doesn't matter. That's gonna be the rest of his squad. Chaos gonna take down Goldir, and man, what a recovery from what we saw earlier. That is gonna be a huge takedown. Takeo Cookie's going to get disrupted. Player 2 saying, guys, y'all can go ahead. The candy for the rest of you. That's going to be some bad BM coming out. Player 2 with the confidence. Player 2 not even playing the game as Chaos takes out Voosh. What a game 3 for Team Dark Horse.
Yeah, that was quite a match. I mean, it all started with player 2 wiping a triple kill onto ARG. That was one of the most satisfying things I've seen in a qualifier. He actually took that momentum. Savage for sure, and he actually kept it going as well. So he finished off a nice triple and then continued his blood hunt. Immediately went and outbreaked another target for more damage who was trying to pot up. Team Dark Horse takes a convincing W in game 3. And OSK, I gotta say, I love to see 3 different teams winning each game so far.
Man, I'll tell you what, we're spreading the love here, and you can see Dark Horse spreading the Exiles as well. Even though their placement isn't the best coming out of game 1 and 2, definitely turning the tables there in game 3, and still keeping the Exile count very, very high. You have to imagine if you press exclamation scores, I can confirm here, they have taken our first place so far here in this tournament. Now, keep in mind, I do have to mention it every time we go into this here, taking the best 6 out of 8 games to sort of, mitigate that RNG of the battle royale genre. But my goodness, they are really making a good case for themselves. They might even have to drop a game. We'll have to see how it plays out. But my goodness, the first 3 games so solid coming out from Dark Horse.
And I got to say, when I'm watching this on the delay, and I just saw once again player 2 throwing out the candy while there's still players left on the map.
Oh
I cannot believe the confidence coming out right now from Team Dark Horse. They do deserve that type of confidence, though. Very convincing showing in game 3. They had some good rounds in game 1 and 2, but like you said, the placement just wasn't there. And this time the stars aligned and they popped off right there. Really fun to watch player 2's angle. Always a pleasure to see that man whip out the mechanics.
Man, whether it's him getting fed off of knowledge potions or him just exuding the BM coming out of these final squads, man, always a fun time to go ahead and get that action off, go ahead and get his camera angle. Of course, we do have to mention Chaos and Megaverse as well. Definitely 2 amazing teammates to be right there with you, carrying out the rest of that engagement there, and really just doing a great job of farming up this lobby. We'll have to see how game 4 plays out, man, but it's going to be a bloodbath to try to take first place from Team Dark Horse. Maybe you drop on them early, maybe you get them while you have the early advantage. Not sure what your game plan is going to be, but man, it better be good to take out this squad.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw more action coming out from ARG as well. All of these teams are staying consistent. This has been such an enjoyable qualifier to watch. I also saw Shaco was in that last fight a little bit as well. So all these teams kind of working their way in here. As you said, we got one more game for game 4. Then we take a halftime break and come back for 4 final games, which will be played on EU. And this time, OSK, we have a significant amount of EU players and teams coming out here. So as much as we do also have other EU participants in qualifiers, this one is very close to a 50-50 split, it seems, which might make a difference really when we switch servers.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see how ARG adjusted that as well. We know that from South America to North America going to be a bit difficult as it is. They're coming from Argentina, but now they have to go across an entire ocean for their ping onto the EU servers. So hopefully they can really pull this one through going into these last few games. We do have game 4 still on North America. Still plenty of time to make themselves known there. And just keep in mind, as you're looking at these scores here, Game 1 was removed due to that clip into the wall on Halcyon. So that is a throwaway game. That is going to make their scores lower than what it normally would be in comparison to these other teams. So keep that in mind as we go forward here. While their score is relatively low right now, just keep in mind that that is a throwaway game for sure. So we'll have to keep that in mind going forward here. Once game 7, game 8 rolls around, we'll finally get an accurate picture of where they stand. But as of right now, even with game 1 removed, they are still in 4th place. So still keep an eye on them to take the entire thing. They're going to be huge going in. But we also have to talk about Team Dapper Fellows actually taking over the 2nd place standings as of right now. And despite their crashing in game number 1, almost a similar situation to Team ARG on that ruling there. I mean, 2 of their teammates were out in game 1, and they're still taking 2nd place. So, man, that is a squad I did not anticipate being as high as they are. They are doing a fantastic job in those final circle situations, getting their exiles up, getting their damage up, and really just rotating as one full squad, doing a great job of making the most of their time as they can, as you could see from game 2 in Hermaeus Mora. So, definitely another squad to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, as casters, we love to highlight the teams that come out here and perform at a super high level, especially when we couldn't quite expect it coming into the games. And that's why, as you said, we got to discuss Dapper Fellows and Knockenklatcher. They have been playing so well.
I heard that one.
It came out there, but these 2 teams have been playing so well, and they've also been contesting fights with some of the top players in these events. Really nice to see them come out here and have that type of performance, and we're waiting for game 4 to begin. Then, as we said, it'll be a halftime break, and this halftime break is actually a nice communication video. It'll be, you can hear the comms coming out from Hermaeus Mora, I believe, is the video host, and you'll be able to hear the competitive talk and how these players really communicate in these games.
Yeah, it's always really nice to hear what is going through these players' minds as they are going and rotating out with their squads and sometimes in the solo environment. It's always nice to see if you're a team watching this sort of comm video, you have to be thinking, what are these guys pointing out that maybe I can pick up on to make my squad even better? So it's just a really nice sharing of information, I would say. It's really, really nice to get this community together and try to improve all as one big unit, even though Element is a team of competitive is a discord of competitive teams trying to really bat players against each other. We can still take out some of the better moments to really help everyone learn in this competitive scene, which is really just a beautiful thing. Part of the reason why I'm even in the community in the first place. It's a great time all the way around. So definitely do not miss that halftime show after this next game. We'll be getting into it very, very soon, as we do have word that we've already dropped in getting the quick elimination. And look at that. My timing is impeccable. Let's get into game 4, please.
That was some ESPN level timing right there. Love to see it, OSK. You are going to get us copyrighted, my friend. I do not want to hear that ever again. We get over to ARG Joker now. He is just getting chunked down to flesh. He has no room. He is just stuck in this position. He will fall here, it seems, as he's just down to almost nothing. Vigor and recovery helping him out just a little bit, last a little bit longer. But this opponent will not stop. And it is Raikkoda FD finishing off ARG Joker. Karuru is low as well, as it looks like he is on the path to fall as well. Juanchito now finds the res, but not in time to save Karuru. Karuru will likely get exiled here as the boulder does not quite make it through, and ARG Joker gets away from it. Juanchito is not so lucky, though. He falls to Raikkoda FD once again, and Joker is just down to literally 1 HP. Raikkoda FD with a very, very nice set, though, OSK. Gotta give credit to Raikkoda for that fight.
Man, you have to be thinking going into these EU games with that drop off of game 1, that is going to hurt so bad for Team ARG. Man, I would really like to see a better early game from them, but we cannot take away from Raikkoda and Tiger 2K. It's going to be Team Easy Clap making some easy work on the early game advantage from really all of their classes are great for the early game here. They're rocking the Stone Shaper, the Pyromancer, and Toxicologist. Maybe that was part of the game plan to try to get some early exiles out. And man, it looked like it worked out pretty well for them. Now they have the entirety of Lowland Outpost to just loot up for themselves. Unfortunate for ARG to go out so early, but man, sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, unfortunately, now we see Raikkoda getting some more scrolls. His teammate Stackery needs a little bit more armor and HP before they feel good enough to take another fight. But it was just unfortunate watching that angle from ARG Karuru's perspective. Having no rune in these early fights is the difference between life and death. As you see, he could not quite get enough distance between himself and Raikkoda managed to finish off the kill. So major credit to him. And as we see, he's just rotating around the map with that nice ethereal assassin skin, looking at that cape dripping through the wind as he's just waiting for the next fight to come his way.
Let me tell you, man, this guy has some good taste in that ethereal assassin skin there. That's actually my favorite skin in the entire game, if y'all didn't know. Maybe y'all can disagree with me in the Twitch chat there, but man, what a beauty to behold here. I don't know why. It just gives me like 2B vibes from Nier Automata. That's why I mainly pick it there, but also it's got a nice little aesthetic going out the back there. The cape, the divided cape, the little streamers coming out. Kind of a speed demon vibe going on, but man, you could if you're going to be playing Fashion Break, okay, if this is what you're going to be doing, you have to get the feathered cloudburst coming out along with your divine light, I believe it's called, Afterglow. Man, just really makes a great show if you're really looking for that aesthetic part of Spellbreak. Always nice. Now we're going to see them rotate off a little bit more on the competitive side of things, getting some nice little loot up. We do see that we do have all epics coming out for the offensive tools of Raikkoda. Looking for some boots, though. There is no shoes on this man, so definitely have to go ahead and get some footwear going on. Maybe a quick little bit of Nikes, maybe a quick little bit of Pumas. Have to see how that plays out for him. But in the meantime, we do have Team Dark Horse looking for some early action, playing the central part of the zone, saying there is no fear in our hearts right now as we can just rotate out, look for any squads trying to get some loot up. And look at that. The epic loot is strewn out right here. So definitely a place that players have been. Definitely have to watch out for some danger in Whitgrave. They might get into a quick early engagement for some exiles. We'll have to see how it plays out for them, though.
Yeah, and we also see that he has focused mana already triple stacked. We can't be sure if his teammates have been funneling him those scrolls or if he's just been getting lucky with finding them. But after watching Chaos in Game 3, where he hit 3 straight frost shots at difficult angles, when you see him with 3 focused manas, you know that he has an opportunity here to pop off. Chaos is a very, very good competitive player, and he's also surrounded by 2 other very good players. So we'll see if he can really turn this one into a pop-off performance. We've seen the kill feed, though. Iorder gets a kill into Ice Cream 0123. Chaos dropping some fireballs, pinging out and communicating with his team, waiting for a coordinated attack. You see Megaverse throwing down some fire to distract these opponents as they look to just make it to the high ground. They were waiting for them, though. Nice air shots from Chaos as he just plants this opponent down, trying to find the last little angle to get the kill. Sees him dropping, and he just needs the ice shot. Misses just off the side. Megaverse does finish off Gervin, and we see Chaos is going for the assassination.
Ooh.
Very satisfying, OSK.
Man, that Reliquator skin doing a great job of raiding the kill feed here, getting a nice exile onto Frigid Frost, saying, hey, my aim's actually on point this time. We got the frost coming out. We got my dash off the cooldown. We got some fireballs here for the sake of this kill feed and the sake of these exiles. Now looking to take this higher area here. Plenty of resources to go around, and look at that. The full focus mana going to be empowering every single bit of these spells. So we'll have to see how this plays out for him. The Featherfall coming out, but that's a lot of damage coming out from Chaos. That's going to be another disruption onto Minty Fresh. Chaos really feeling himself coming into this mid game as he's looking to land a snipe, but Megaverse is going to be too quick. That's Hakuza going down. Now KW has an opportunity, looking for number 2. That's going to be another snipe. Easy peasy. Another day in the office for Chaos.
Chaos is having a great day so far in these matches. So is player 2, but this is just a nice performance. Watching his camera angle has been a pleasure as he gets that legendary shadow step. Surprised that he didn't give that one over to player 2 unless player 2 already has something of equivalent rarity. You can see a quick crouch right there. Chaos maybe just taking a moment to absorb what he just did to that opponent team. 20 people left in the game. We see him. Chaos is going to have to move. There it is. They gave him the shadow step. Got to make sure that you get
Epic
that legendary
Frost.
shadow.
Epic Frost.
Oh, I guess he missed the Epic Frost, unfortunately.
Oh.
Chaos. Bit distracted.
Little bit, but that's all right. It's not really going to be that big of a difference. Just a little thing I would have liked to see him pick up, but that's okay. You know, blue is my favorite color. You know, purple, while it is nice with the extra damage, sometimes you just got to go for that aesthetic. So, you know, priorities. But anyway, M-Dash looking to land a snipe of his own with the Purple Frost. He followed my advice, and it looks like Shaco's going to follow Swift Turtle into the HoloLands there. That's going to be a nice little exile, and that is going to be our beautiful little team here. That is going to be Knackenklotcher. Man, I can't pronounce that either, but great job on them to get those exiles.
Knackenklotcher. Getting a nice set right there. Chaos again looking for action. This man does not stop. Trying to hit a shot over the hill, looking for the flying opponent. Doesn't quite get it to go. Storm doesn't do much to Chaos considering he chose recovery this match. He is confident to just stand outside the zone a little bit, pop out some shots, but now they're back in the circle, looking for another angle. Look at the way that Team Dark Horse is positioning themselves on this hill, waiting so patiently. 18 people left in this game, and there is no pressure on Team Dark Horse to make any proactive moves. All they have to do is just wait for the fight to come to them, but it looks like they're going to push for it. Getting up in the front side now, gets hit with major boulders.
Ooh.
Chaos is down to flesh. As you see, the opponents will still back off, though. Even though they chunked Chaos so low, OSK, they did not want to take the fight. Very interesting.
Yeah, that is what we call in the business a bad trade, as there is nothing that's going to be resulting of those 3 boulders. So Chaos actually going to be back to full shield. You might as well just burn through your knowledge potions. So that's a good job from KW, keeping the pressure up, keeping the pressure off of Chaos there. Even though he lost all his shield, he just gains it right back. So really, that's an advantage for Team Dark Horse, as they will have to go ahead and rotate in. No fear on the extra boulders coming in now. They can freely push aggressively with no fear from any knowledge potion shenanigans. So Chaos looking to land these snipes just like normal. Player 2 looking to land these outplays just like normal. Megaverse looking to landscape just like normal. Everything is normal today, plays.
Yeah, they are just going for it here, shooting out some shots. Chaos gets a nice plant. Oh my god, this poor player getting hit from multiple angles.
Man.
Team Dark Horses just has their sights
Oh,
on
man!
M-Dash. That was very unfortunate. M-Dash just got eaten alive by Team Dark Horse right there. More shots coming out from Chaos. This man is on fire today.
Man, speaking of fire, did you see that beautiful midair fire from Megaverse? That's a nice seal out. Now looking for this frost, but it will be taken over by Ilya. This is Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon gonna go ahead and collapse onto Dark Horse's position. So having to back off is Chaos here, but look at this. He has all the room in the world to land all of these snipes. Being a little bit tickled from the toxic spray, but that's a nice frost snipe coming out. Now some fireballs to follow up. And man, look at the damage. Roll Cut is taken out, saying, get that hairstyle out of my lobby. I don't want to see it. I don't need to see it. Player 2 saying, Lovell, that's enough out of you. Now it's just Ilya, the last member left. This is going to be Chaos trying to land some snipes. Going to miss 2, but looking for number 3. The flight's going to be risky. Going to have to watch the snipe. Excellent maneuverability from Ilya. Now just having to recover here. This is going to be a prime opportunity to get Megaverse up. This will be a 3v1 going into the late game. Some big damage coming out of the way of Dark Horse.
I cannot get over how Chaos is playing these fights. He did get a little bit out of position and took a ton of damage for it, but you got to give him credit for laying out the work earlier in that fight. We see that Ilya actually dies to Storm, so the Exiles will be credited as they came down as disruptions earlier. Chaos has plenty of resources to drink here. Megaverse maybe not so much, as he's just taking those potions now. Look at all the loot that they have to sort through. Chaos, Player 2, Megaverse, all of them should get back to full HP and armor and have a very convincing run at winning this game. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, and also for anybody who was not here in the earlier matches, this team just won Game 3, and winning back-to-back matches before a halftime break is massive for your squad's momentum.
Purple Frost? Do it this time, please, Chaos. It's like he doesn't see color right here. It's fine. It's fine. KW Chaos saying Blue Frost is enough. That's the second time, man. I can't get over that.
He's been hitting so many insane snipes with this Blue Frost. He's saying, this is my gauntlet. I do not even want to upgrade the rarity. No, I'm joking. He obviously just did not mean, he meant to pick that up, but nonetheless, Chaos now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. The superstition is real in some of these sports. Maybe esports is no different, man. If it's working for him, then by all means, just go for it. That's just funny. But anyway, Chaos looking to land some big snipes coming out here. Going to take over the mountain. This is the prime spot you want to take. This is excellent rotations coming out from Dark Horse, keeping the pressure up. And look at all of this. Look at all the ground that they can cover here. This is just a great job taking over the dominant position of this next lobby. You can see going to go ahead and get some big fire damage on this opponent. Half the shields are gone, and they can just descend if they want to. Like, this is such a strong place to be holding. Now Chaos with a free shot. That's 47 damage from downtown, courtesy of Focus Mana. Chaos going to go ahead and take out Goldier. This is Dapper Fellows losing 1 member. Now looking for number 2. Player 2 will find Twitch creeps there. So now it's just Hermaeus Mora, the gardener of men, the father of knowledge, gonna be almost sniped out of the sky. We're looking for round 2 on the snipes here. And Megaverse looking for his last target. Plays. This is such a bloodbath, man. I'm watching a massacre on the screen today. Player 2 doing a great job of keeping the pressure up, and Chaos looking to follow up. Man, they are doing a fantastic job this game.
This is the most measured bloodbath I've ever seen. Team Dark Horse is doing a really good job early in this fight to take it to these other squads, but now Megaverse may be a little bit overextended. He is so low. Chaos has to try to make up for it with some frost shots, but Megaverse is just the focus of attention here. Just barely missing is Chaos's Frostbolt as it takes across the mountain. Megaverse does find a nice angle to get himself some more pops. They should be able to recover here as long as nobody sneaks up, but a major DF could throw a wrench in their plans. Now we see Voosh getting a nice quick hit too, in fact. This opponent is so low. Voosh just needs one more kill shot. Looking for the angle, can't quite get it. We know that he had some knowledge potions earlier, looking at his frost and toxic sorceries. Getting up to the top now. Voosh does still have only a common shadow step. That cooldown is so long as you look at his teammate falling. Take Your Cookies will get disrupted, and Voosh is just going to do what he can to try to get himself some more HP and armor, but it's looking tough here for him and his squad.
I'll tell you what, man, Stone Shapers love this mountain, and you can see why. All the shockwaves traveling all the way down. Voosh is looking pretty bad right now, needs to be careful, but that's going to be a Dragonfire, a self-inflicted Dragonfire, as he will go down here to a mixture of Dapper Fellows, well, actually Megaverse here, and Rykota. So we'll have to see how that plays out. For the rest of these teams here, we do have a 3v2 situation, actually a 2v2. Looks like player 2 is down for the moment. Looking for the res is Megaverse. Nothing can interrupt this either, so definitely will get player 2 up. And now look at that beautiful fireball coming out. That's Dapper Fellows finishing in second place. Dark Horse looking not so dark anymore, man. They are in the clear front running.
Yeah, Dark Horse is a bit of an ironic name considering how hard they've been dominating these last two games, certainly looking like the leaders in this qualifier number 7, but we cannot discredit the other teams because OSK,
Absolutely
we've
not.
seen some really good performances out of these squads, and it's really great before we get into halftime to acknowledge some of those performances. Remember that we do have a 10-minute break coming up just in a second, but OSK, give me a quick breakdown on what we saw and the teamwork we saw in that final fight.
Look, this is very simple, okay? Take high ground, win game. And that's really all there is to it. That mountain is the complete, like, this is the controlling factor of that final zone. It's very, very fortunate for these teams that it actually ended up that way in the final zone, that it's so centered around that Sawtooth Mountain. If you can take that over, you saw the shockwaves coming out. You can see the massive advantage that it gives you as far as angles, as far as mana management, as far as your resources are concerned. I mean, it's just an overall great place to be. And you can see, even though that team Dark Horse was rotating off, plenty of squads were filling in that role. And when they did it, they got plenty of exiles and plenty of disruptions, plenty of damage as well, which all factor into our scores here. So this is just all to say, if you can take that high ground, just like the rest of these teams did, then you're going to be in a fantastic place going into the late game. So that's really all there is to it. You just take the high ground, win game, easy.
Yeah, thank you for the breakdown, OSK. But we are going to go
Yep.
into a quick
A two
halftime
point
break.
breakdown.
We got a nice 10 minutes for you guys. I think the players, casters, and even the viewers at home need to take a quick breather after 4 very high intensity games. We got 4 games following this as well, so 8 total. And we will see you guys in just a minute. Thank you, Zaxabar, for the subscription. And thank you, everybody, for your support, not just financially, but with your viewership and your community love. We really appreciate you guys. We will see you in about 10 minutes.
We need to try and stay out of sight.
Welcome back from the halftime break. Thank you to Hermaeus Mora for providing us with that video, showing us what the comms are like in some of these complicated situations. OSK, give us a quick breakdown about the score. We did see the stats pop up for a second, but tell us exactly what's happening here and the dynamic of the scores so far.
So right now it's all Team Dark Horse sitting in first place. We do have a total of 1,986 points coming in from that stat sheet. By the way, guys, if you want to take a quick look at the scores with me, you can go ahead and hit exclamation scores there in the chat. They will pop up in a nice little Google Excel sheet for you. You can break them down as I am as well. In second place, we're going to be having Dapper Fellows with 1123. We're going to be having Knockin' Klotcher rather, coming into third with 1,017. Followed up by fourth place, Pega Dragon Pog Cannon 980, and Shays Belays actually with the console players coming in with 945 scores coming in. Now, big takeaways from this, okay? We do have Dark Horse getting a huge amount of exiles and damage per game, and despite their first 2 games not being best of placement, they did finish pretty highly coming into game number 3 and 4, winning both of them. So it's just helping their scores overall. Dapper Fellows in game 1 had 2 crashes out of their teams. So keep in mind, bringing into the second half, that 2 of their games will be dropped. We'll be looking for a big rise out of them. Same thing to go with Team ARG, who is currently sitting in 6th place. Their first game, even though they did very well, did not get counted because of the wall clip that we saw on stream. That was deemed to be intentional by our observers and also by the rule staff. So they will drop their first game. And also game number 4 wasn't all that great. So coming into the second half, going to have to see some big things coming out for them to make a bit of a higher placement. So that's where we're at scores. Dark Horse leading by a lot, and the other teams have to do a lot to catch up.
And not only is Dark Horse leading by a lot, but when we left for halftime break, they were on a roll. I mean, we saw Chaos just popping off. And also player 2 in the game before that had a fantastic match. They won games 3 and 4 cleanly. If they can keep up that level of pace, that tempo, and that game style, I think they just take this one home clearly. But we cannot discredit the other teams that have been in there. Like you talked about, Knockin' Klotcher playing fantastic, Dapper Fellows
Absolutely.
coming out of the woods and just popping off in some of these matches. And that's what we love to see as casters. A closer match due to unexpected, beautiful gameplay. We're waiting for Game 5 to start. Also, I know you guys all know this from watching our events, but the final 4 games are played on EU. That makes a big difference for Team Knockin' Klotcher because they are all European players.
Absolutely. And you have to imagine that with them being a full German team going into these last to this last half. They were doing pretty decently on their off server. And actually, we had, even though they finished up in third place in game 2, didn't actually get very much damage and didn't get very many exiles. So their score definitely be looking to have that on the higher end going in. They're currently in third. I wouldn't be surprised if they are making a very big conversation for first place or just taking over second place here. So keep an eye on them going forward here. But we do, of course, have to talk about how this is all possible plays. This Element Fusion qualifier, even though sponsored by Proletariat, primarily this prize pool comes directly from you guys. If you would like to donate, if you would like to support the competitive scene brought to you by Element, go ahead and hit that donation button. 70% of what you give will go directly towards the prize pools. Get your name up in lights right here in the bottom bar, and 30% going to be going to production, paying the staff, getting some production upgrades, getting more staff here on the actual Element side of things. So every little bit helps. Donate if you feel free. Get your name up in lights, just like the rest of us here. Plays going into the second half, I'm going to be expecting some huge things from this squad you mentioned, Knock and Clutcher.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hoping to see as well. They've had great games coming in. It's not like they will need to flip a switch. They just need to keep this continuous play style that they've had, maybe take advantage of the lower latency that they will have from being an EU squad. But I mean, the real challenge here, OSK, we talk about these things. We talk about the theory behind, oh, they will have a lower latency. You have to kill Megaverse Player 2 in Chaos. I don't care what latency you're on. That is not an easy task. So we're going to see if there's some mistakes that come out from Team Dark Horse that get capitalized on by other teams. We're going to see if Team ARG can maybe come and have a pop-off performance, even though they're playing from South America to Europe now. This is a lot of this is up in the air. And that's what I'm trying to make clear as we get into the back stretch of this game. It could go one way where Dark Horse just pulls out, or it could go another where a team from Europe just really capitalizes on the changes coming in.
Yeah, of course. And we'll have to see who can really make the adjustment as far as team composition and as far as mechanics go going into a higher ping. You do have to keep in mind that pinpoint accuracy going to be a little bit lacking if you're at 200 ping. So maybe you opt for some more AoE classes like Stone Shaper and Pyromancer. Maybe you go for that you could probably work Conduit in there just because it gives you so much forgiveness as far as first shot accuracy is concerned. Maybe you don't run as many Frosts. Maybe you just go for a big AoE style of play. So we'll have to see how that plays out for everybody. Of course, positional awareness, team coordination, and rotation is going to be a huge factor going into the second half for any NA squads. But for all the EU squads, they can throw that out the window and do the exact opposite. They can run their Frostborns. They can run their Toxicologists. They can run their Tempests if they want to. It's really all in their favor at this point. But one team you have to really keep an eye out for, Team ARG. They're playing on high ping no matter what is the case. And I do have to say, with game number 2 and game number 3, even game number 1 before the rule violation there, they were doing pretty well in terms of team coordination, comms, positional awareness. They're doing very, very well in that regards. And I wouldn't expect anything to change coming out on the EU side of things for them either.
Yeah, for sure. And we also have another team I want to mention. They haven't had a super high performance so far, but I do want to give credit to Shays Blaze. I do think they've been playing really good games of Spellbreak. It hasn't translated into really contesting Dark Horse or contesting ARG in the final 1 or 2 slot, but I do think they've been playing consistent Spellbreak. And as casters, we have to make sure the attention is spread across all teams that are playing and participating in the games. Great job from Shays Blaze, as well as Papega Dragon, Paul Cannon. We talked about them quite a lot in the first 2 matches. It seems that the games 3 and 4 have not really gone their way. We'll see if they can pick something up on EU. But again, a lot is up in the air here, OSK. Nothing is fully decided today.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to give a shout out again to all of our teams, just like you did here. Really, you're playing against some of the best players in the world. Let's get that straight, okay? There's definitely nothing to be hanging your head about if you're on the latter part of this tournament. It's always good practice, even if you're not doing so well in the scoring part. So still, great way to come out and really show what you're made of against some of these better squads. Definitely nothing to be upset about. So we'll be going into game number 5 here pretty shortly. I do have the confirmation that we are dropping in, getting some early action, getting the production squad all on the cameras that they need to be in. We'll be getting in those early action very, very soon. So in terms of predictions here, of course, I would imagine Dark Horse, contrary to what we're saying in A going into EU, I still think that they're going to be doing very well. You did mention that we are playing against Player 2, Megaverse, and Chaos, 3 of the most I would say, talented players in our current competitive scene all on one squad as well. They've definitely been on the EU side of things before. They've done pretty well on it. I wouldn't expect anything different. Knocking Klotcher, definitely a squad to keep an eye on coming into game number 5 here. And of course, can't forget about Dapper Fellows. They do have that game 1 unfortunate circumstance of being crashed. So with this second half, expect their score to be a little bit more inflated.
Yeah, we hope so. And if we're going to be throwing out predictions right now, I want to throw out a hot take. I know that Team Dark Horse is in a position here to take the whole event, but I really genuinely think that Knock and Klotcher will take a W on these back 4 games. I am predicting at least 1 win for that squad, Shaco with a pop-off or something like that. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's my prediction as we load up into the 5th game. The drop-in is just happening right now, so we got a little bit more time to burn, OSK. These people have to suffer just a little bit longer staring at our faces before we get into that game 5 situation. Back 4 games will be played on EU, and we are just about ready to finish off today's event. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that there's 8 qualifiers total, not just, but the 8th switch. Sorry, we were on the wrong screen for a second there. Overdue Distress hits a beautiful snipe across the map, and we see ARG Juanchito in the kill feed as well with Joker getting more kills. That is not a tournament team that they're killing, but nonetheless, they are just working their way through it. Overdue Distress is now in a bit of a sticky situation. He gets blown up. Tiger 2K linking his attacks right there. Minty Fresh as well is going to get CC'd and knocked down. Nice quick freeze though onto his opponent. Minty Fresh is really the only hope, but he does get disrupted. And this looks like a full drop for the team. Goodbye to that squad. But M-Dash and the rest of their team from Knock and Klotcher is in a very good spot up on the hill here, OSK. They might be able to make a difference.
Yeah, getting some free damage off to this opponent who was trying to reach a scroll. That's one of the more premier strats that you see coming out of Frost Wielder, so we'll have to see how they can finish up this squad. M-Dash doing a great job of rotating up with his team here, doing a great job of keeping up with Shaco. Looks like part of Silent Kill here, so definitely a lot of representation coming out from Team SK. Shaco going to go ahead and seal out a nice little exile onto Tiger 2K. That recovery is working overtime as Ioder will take out Raikkoda, and that's going to be Shaco cleaning up Stackery as well. Really doing a lot of work is Shaco today.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, we mentioned him maybe having a pop-off on these back 4 games, and it looks like it may have started. 26 people already. That's already the amount of people left in this game 5. That is a very fast start compared to games 1 through 4. We did see game 1 start with high pace, but this is a very high level of damage and death coming out early. We see M-Dash very well looted with the rest of his team, and I think Knock and Klotcher is in a great spot, bouncing over to Hermaeus Mora and his team. We saw him at halftime whipping out the communication, and now we'll see him in the game, trying to take some shots from deep. He is rocking that Frostborn, so keep in mind that he's going to be having that Frozen Alacrity to help his team move, and you see it take advantage right now. Going to be rotating across the map, doesn't want to engage front side against this enemy team, OSK.
Yeah, definitely not. We'll have to see where the zone is eventually going to end up here in game number 5. Hopefully it's a nice central location, but we'll be able to find out here pretty quickly, I would imagine. If we can get that map up, see where we're rotating up. Nope, it's going to be northwest. That's Banehelm Keep, going to be primarily the area to be rotating off towards, as well as looks like Verdun Estate. That would be a very interesting zone. We saw that in scrims the other day, Verdun Estate. But looks like we have a little bit of action going to break up that map there. Hermaeus Mora might have just dodged a shot from a Frost user, so has to fly away for his troubles. Yes, and it looks like there is a lot of Frost coming out from behind him. Going to be rotating off towards this more mountainous area, making better use of his stone on these cliff sides. It's going to be a Frozen Boulder coming out from ARG Joker, switching up the skins as well, just to sort of make sure that they cannot tell who they are fighting, the enemy team. And now looks like we have still the tank build coming out, the classic that you want to do with Stone Shaper. And looking to farm up, looking to get a little bit of landscaping going on is ARG Joker.
Yeah, he is just throwing out some wind shears from distance. You see how little damage those do even when they do connect. Now Joker is just going to be trying to run his way up forward, throwing his shockwaves up the hill, connects on one. Nice bit of damage right there. Vigor and recovery is giving him so much survivability. He is free to just run up ahead of his teammates and throw as much damage as he can, trying to get more shockwaves up the hill. He is fighting from a down position as Shaco takes out Karuru, and now it looks like Joker is way overextended. Even though his survivability is high, his teammates cannot say the same for themselves, as Karuru will need to get res now. A little bit of another miscoordination as Juanchito gets interrupted on his resurrection. Joker now just backing off completely, but the Frost is going to find him. More damage landing, and Joker might just have to leave his teammates to die, OSK. This is tragic.
Yeah, very tragic indeed. Has to hide in the house here for the moment near the kiln, it looks like. We'll have to make sure that he's not another piece on top of that mantle there, as he will opt to reset. Unfortunately, Juanchito might have just been laid out to dry there, and he will get found out by one of our members. He does have to be very, very safe here. He does have full health, so that definitely is a nice advantage for him. But it's also a common stone along with wind offhand, so not the best situation for him. He will have to completely disengage here if he can, but that's a lot of movement coming out from the enemy team, and that's not a lot of movement from Joker. Doesn't have runic fluency, doesn't have a dash, it's just a spring step, so he needs to be very, very careful. But there's a lot of frost. And the grief coming out and the fracture. Oh my goodness, man. There wasn't even a levitation coming out, just denying the loot. And Megaverse will take credit for that exile. Man, the BM coming out. Maybe a little bit of I don't know, revenge from Team Dark Horse. Oh my gosh, that was ugly. That's ugly, man.
Yeah, it's important to note that they still will get credited with the kill, but it was definitely an intentional denial of the loot. He did not want to give up what he had to the teammates, to the team chasing him down. Look at this though, Megaverse and his teammates are in trouble. Player 2 needs to pot, and Chaos is low too. This did not go the way that they were looking. Dark Horse is in a bit of a pickle. Now Megaverse just has to do what he can, take some lightning damage. It's going to shock him as well. Megaverse doing the most, but Chaos is just getting bursted on the backside of his trade. Megaverse with a nice direct fireball, almost gets another one to stick, but the tunnel will stick him even more. And now Megaverse will fall. Team Knocking Clutch is dropping off Team Dark Horse, and this is exactly the situation we talked about, OSK. Can Knocking Clutcher turn this around?
I'll tell you what, man, they don't need to turn anything around. It looks like they're in the driver's seat. They're doing so well going into this engagement onto Dark Horse, our leading team. And look at that, man. Shaco is farming this lobby with his Lightning Gauntlet. My goodness. Look at the number of exiles on this man already. That's 8. And there's 18 people total in this lobby. There's 15 more players to disrupt. We might be looking at double digits today plays on Shaco alone.
Yeah, he is just popping off in here, and I'm so glad we brought some attention to him at the halftime break. This man is having a fantastic set of games, and the real attention is coming from his gameplay. He is the reason for the show-off type of play. 8 kills to his name, as you mentioned. His teammate M-Dash is on the backside. They're moving through the storm. This is some more smart communication, really interesting, and I'm really glad we could see this angle. They actually opted to go through the storm because they didn't want to take a ton of pressure coming through that other side where they know a squad is located. Instead, they want to wait a little bit longer, get onto a new high ground. Look at Ilya in the kill feed, representing Team Papaga Dragon, getting a nice set of disrupts and an actual squad wipe. Shaco with the conduit damage. Look at those lightning bolts, OSK.
Man, they are coming out with a lot of damage coming out, and I do have word. It looks like that we are going to be looking at that intentional fracture coming out. So maybe we'll have a ruling on it here very soon with the caster cam break that we'll take in between games. But in the meantime, we have to be talking about SK Shaco here. Of course, not going to take away from the attention of the kill feed either. We have Papaga Dragon Pod Cannon going to go ahead and seal out a nice full squad XL onto Shay's Blaze. In the meantime, we have SK Shaco trying to land some nice little lightning bolts here, getting the shield all melted off, all pelted off as well, and looking to land a nice little stun. It's the stun into the lightning bolts, and that's another disruption coming out. Now we're slapping around our competition, getting a nice little bit of lightning damage. That's going to be a vital stone, and man, that death, while delayed, will not be delayed for long. He will thirst out his 9th exile, and it looks like we're going to be having a bit of a bloodbath going our ways, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be ugly. Shaco doing some great work, saying I'm on my home server, and that's going to be Bullcut going to go ahead and seal out the full exile onto Cam Stern. So this is Papaga Dragon Pod Cannon versus, this is going to be Team Knocking Clutcher. We'll have to see how this plays out, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a close one for sure.
Yeah, Shaco got way up close there, taking a massive amount of damage. He does have 9 kills, but he has to be careful with getting overzealous. He might just get bursted if he's out of position. He does have that focus mana to help out his own damage output, but his teammates are not free of it either. Iota is just getting hit on the backside, and his teammate M-Dash needs a bit of help as well. This one is not going the way of Team Knocking Clutcher now, as Shaco is just left pretty much on his own. The rest of his teammates are getting disrupted, and Shaco will almost certainly fall here. You see the shockwaves and fireballs trying to chase him off. Shaco getting over to some high ground. Nice quick crouch to matrix out of the way of that Frostbolt. 12 people left in the game. Shaco has a chance to redeem his team if he can pop off, but we don't know if that's going to happen as he's just getting boxed in from multiple angles. Bullcut will finish Ioder, and now it's just up to Shaco. Okay, this is not looking great.
I'll tell you what, though, level is already down, so that's one member down for the enemy team coming in. Shaco has a prime opportunity to really open this up. Bullcut will take out Ioder here, but it looks like they might be in a bit of a third-party situation. Maybe I'm wrong there, but that fireball looked a little suspect. He will be hanging out in the zone for right now, drinking that giant health potion. Going to get burned for his troubles, though, as he will take a bit of damage from the flame wall. Now he really just needs to kite out of the way here. Nice, quick sorcery recharge, and a nice little bit of residual damage coming out from the lightning strike sorcery. Now looking to just get a quick miniature reset coming out. And I would have to imagine Pepega Pog Dragon, or Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. What a mouthful, man. They will be looking to land this little bit of exile here. I don't know if that's one of their team members, but they are doing a pretty good job of covering all their options as far as where to rotate towards. Now, M-Dash's timer is getting pretty low. I would have to imagine Shaco is going to be looking to get a quick res. That might not be the case, though. M-Dash is looking in a pretty open environment. That might be the end of him, and it will be. So it's just Shaco remaining for Team Knockenklotcher, and it will be interesting to see if there's any way back to a first place finish, I would have to say.
Good instinct from Shaco to immediately move onto his teammate's body to pick up the meds after the exile falls through. He knew he could not risk holding down the res for 5 seconds, but instead he just waited for his chance to get some more pots. Remember that every kill or bit of damage he can get off at this point is all benefit. He's the only one left on his squad, and this is all just extra points to add on to the top. We got Goldier in here as well, 0 kills to his name so far, but the Conduit is doing a lot of damage if he can get those lightning bolts to land. That opponent is down to just flesh as the Creeps takes him out. It was Lavelle, and Pepeka Dragon is in a huge disadvantage here, so low, as Goldier looks to continue this push with Conduit. Double dash in the pocket, gets out of the way of that DF as well. This is just players everywhere now as Goldier gets jumped on. The disadvantage of Conduit is when that Toxicologist gets right on your hip.
Oh.
Goldier actually decided to move completely out of the way now, and you see Shaco popping off, gets a disrupt on the Bullcut all on his own OSK.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was about to say earlier, is don't count Shaco out here. He's still alive, still able to disrupt all of this action here. That's exactly what he wants to do, too. There are 3 entire squads fighting over this area, and Shaco is with his Shadow Step rune, as well as the Overload skill, has a prime opportunity to really farm up a lot of damage. So even though he is the lone person on his squad, look at that. He's already got another disruption. That's onto one Almond Wizard, and you have to imagine here that he is looking to drag this out. He is looking to hide a little bit. He's also got a disruption onto Swift Turtle, but it won't be enough. Creeps will go ahead and seal him out, but the damage score will still count. You have to keep that in mind. That's going to be huge for Team Knockenklotcher, as well as their placement, as well as the sheer amount of exiles they were able to seal out. This is a huge game for Knockenklotcher, but it won't be the end of it, as now we see, looks like Dapper Fellows still taking control over this last little zone. Their health is in a great spot. Their positioning is in a great spot. Creeps has a real big opportunity to farm this up, and it will be Goldier with the final exile. That is another win for Team Dapper Fellows.
Yeah, very big W right there for them, setting the tone on the back half of this stretch. But we also got to talk about Shaco right there, because he popped off. Even though 9 kills to his name, his teammates fall down. He manages to stay alive, and he wasn't just waiting in corners or potting up the entire time. He was out there dropping off bodies with people all around him, solo squatting it up in Game 5. What a performance from him, showing up for his team. But we also got to keep our minds on the winners.
Yeah, definitely. Dapper Fellow's doing a great job of taking advantage of that last little zone rotation, taking control of that bridge, the clear dominant place to be rotating towards with all its towers and all the flat ground that it looked like Creeps could really take big advantage of with his stone gauntlet. So great job playing to their strengths. And I want to just point out to you there, I know we talked about Shaco already, but I do want to point out that he got 3 disruptions before he was able to go down due to I believe it was a member. Can't remember the name of him real quick. I believe that he went down to someone from Dapper Fellows. I might be wrong though, but he did get 3 disruptions coming out as a solo player in a squad environment. So definitely a lot of damage score to be had there. We'll keep an eye on that going into game number 6. But man, great job of rotation from Dapper Fellows, really taking advantage of the chaos that Shaco was creating and sealing out a nice little win. Definitely going to be a better game for them in terms of what we count for our final scores.
Yeah, and make sure you guys are checking the score sheet, just like Peng 11, hit exclamation mark scores and see if Shaco actually got credited with those kills. I do believe those were just light disruptions and then the person got picked up. I don't think he went beyond other than maybe one that ticked to make it 10, but we'll have to see on the final scorecard. I see you have a point to raise right now.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like due to the multiple rule violations that we saw from Team ARG, they have been completely disqualified from this event. So the intentional fracture and also the clip in game 1 onto the wall and south of Fort Halcyon has been deemed enough grounds to completely disqualify them from this event. And I would have to imagine that has some future implications going into our future events. So unfortunate that that had to happen, but it looks like that is what we have ourselves in here. So we'll be continuing with 9 teams still competing for this first place finish. Just hate to see it, man, but does have to be announced here. There will be no more ARG in our lobbies here today.
Yeah, you certainly do hate to see it, but this is just a reminder to everybody that please make sure you go through and read all the rules and all the expectations that we have as a competitive community. There are certain things that we just cannot bend around, and make sure that we got to make sure that we're keeping up the integrity of the competitive scene, even though it may just be what people think of as a community scene. We got to make sure it's at least has its rules and boundaries. So unfortunately, ARG will be disqualified, as OSK is saying. We got 3 more games to go before we wrap up qualifier number 7. And OSK, we have a qualifier tomorrow as well. The action just does not stop, it seems.
Oh, definitely not. We saw a lot of action coming out. In fact, I would have to see how Knockenclotcher carries this momentum into the last 3 games that we have here. And it'll be really interesting to see if Dark Horse makes some kind of adjustment going into this last game, given that they are currently still in first place with 5 games on the board so far. And Dapper Fellows, you have to keep in mind as well that their first game, like I've been saying all tournament here, they crashed out of game 1. So we have to be keeping an eye out going into at least game 7 to see where they are with 6 games counted as far as score goes. They have plenty of room to open this game up. So definitely don't count them out just yet. But Dark Horse has to be, even though they did have that early lead in the NA side of things, Knockenclotcher is really making a big case for themselves. So they will definitely have to turn on the Jets coming into our last 3 games. So keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah, this is usually how these qualifying events turn out, though. Once you get to the final matches, the boundaries start to choke these teams out. You realize that there's a certain amount of points you need to put yourself in a top spot, and then suddenly the pressure just builds. You know that you have to hot drop or you have to fast rotate and do these macro plays that might reward you with more points. We'll see who can make that work for themselves as we get this final scorecards ready. 3 more matches, as I said, all of which will be played on EU. But let's talk a little bit more about Knockenclotcher's performance in that game. I know Shaco is the star of the show due to him lasting longer and popping off with what seemed like 10 exiles, I want to say, at the end of the game. But that also comes from his team. I think M-Dash and Ioder did a really good job of fighting off the early fights in some difficult situations.
Oh yeah, definitely. You could see them really farming up the lobby from early game to late game. I mean, that early takeover of the mountainside by Shadow Grace into that flat area kind of northeast of Arena of Elders really did them some good. They really took up a fantastic position. And you had Shaco really push their advantage as well. We saw plenty of residual damage coming out from M-Dash as well as Ioder with their lightning and their frost respectively. And they were doing a really good job of just keeping the pressure up onto these other squads who decided to fight in the open flat area. So they're doing a great job of taking up dominant positions, staying out of the immediate action so that they aren't being caught in the middle of 2 fights. And they're just playing really smart here. And there's really not much to be said about it. If you can have smart squad play coupled with the solo talent that each of those 3 members of Knockenclotcher have, I mean, you're just gonna have a recipe for victory, honestly.
Yeah, great points raised right there. But also the winner of that game, we must remind you guys, was Dapper Fellows. I think Gold Deer had a pop-off performance in his own right, playing on the conduit. His tracking was on the money in some of those last engagements. So it's really good to see him coming out. He is, keep in mind, an EU player. His teammates are both on NA. So he actually benefited from this server move onto EU on the back half of this side, really showing off the lower latency with some of those conduit plays. We got 3 more games. I believe we should be getting into Q in just a minute. It's a little bit longer of a break, but now that ARG has been removed, do you have any change in predictions? What do you think will come out in game 6 at this next match?
And I'll tell you what, it would have been an uphill battle anyway for Team ARG to try to take over some of these EU games. It's an even longer distance between servers from Argentina, between North America, moving over to EU. That's a whole nother ocean you have to cross in terms of latency, in terms of ping, in terms of server response. So, I mean, it would have been very, very difficult from the get-go. They did have some of the best squad coordination that we saw. They did a really good job of coordinating as a team, especially in those first 4 games. Game 5, they kind of fell off there, possibly due to the ping, possibly due to a bit of a miscommunication in the rotations. But honestly, going into these next 3 games, I don't expect it to change that much. Like I said, they did have an uphill battle coming in, and the rest of these squads have a bit of an easier time at it. So whoever's ahead right now, I don't think ARG would have had a huge effect on, to be honest. So we'll have to see how things play out here. We'll have to see if some of these other teams who are maybe kind of waiting in the wings. I know Shays Belays would really like to have a real big pop-off game right now, as well as Team Easy Clap. And of course, Dapper Fellows, have to keep an eye on them as well, seeing if they can take over the first place finishing here today. Still have plenty of opportunities to do it, as well as Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon. Really, it's a lot closer than the scores would have you believe here, given that we are taking only the 6 best games. So even if Dark Horse have like kind of middle of the way games going into game number 7 and game number 8, we are only taking 6 of them. So that's plenty of opportunity for some of these newer squads to get in. But as I say that, it looks like Team Dark Horse, it will be picking up some early disruptions as well as some early exiles. So keep in mind going forward that they are getting off to a great start.
Yeah, we see Vucious on that high ground throwing out some wind shears. His teammates giving him that supporting fire. 37 people left in the game because Chaos and Player 2 have already wiped out a squad. Dark Horse getting that early exile set as Vucious throwing out more and more toxic. As they say, he is gardening, throwing out that little bit of puddles, trying to make sure he can get people stuck. Gets a nice toxic NATO right there. Quick little interaction with the puddle, and his teammate blows it up as well, hitting the DF NATO combo. Love to see those types of interactions coming out from the team, especially when it seems intentional. That looked like they definitely coordinated that one.
Oh, definitely, and you have to imagine it's a bit of revenge from our production crew here. Iando was actually the one to exile Dr. Nut, so definitely could have thrown a wrench into our operation here. But we have apparently we have Team Shays Belays just really keeping it real out here, saying you can't do that to our production guy. That's how we can see what's going on in the action here. So I guess that's kind of an indirect benefit to us, I guess. I don't really know what to call it, but in any way, we have Team Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon taking over this Fort Halcyon area. Ilya doing some work with the wind shears here as much as he can, rocking the Stone Shaper wind offhand combo that we see, popularized by the Dark Breakers, but definitely taken advantage of by Ilya. Not going to be high enough on the flight. Will his opponent be on this tower? But look at this. Free damage for Ilya. That's a free 44. That's another 44. Looking for one more. And the exile will be sealed out by level. So that's another bit of points going towards Team Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon.
Yeah, Ilya just stiff-arming that poor player into a corner and slamming him to death. That is just the brutality of Stone Shaper in some situations. He does have a knowledge potion as well. You have to imagine he'll be funneling that one to Bowl Cut on Toxicologist, but Ilya might want those extra boulders for the burst. Throwing one out now, hitting a 50 over top. What a nice little smack from Ilya as he's going to chase down this player with flight. His teammate Bowl Cut does get another kill into Rangar, and we see Ilya really chasing this one down, not letting it go. Flight will be off cooldown in about 5 seconds. He tries to weave that around the side, but can't quite get it to go. Flight's coming off cooldown now, OSK, and he should be able to secure this kill.
Yeah, but look at the distance that his opponent has created here. Even with the flight going on, it's not going to be enough to really close out the distance. He has to look for a reset that his opponent's trying to do. If he can just stop moving for a second and really hunt down this player, that would be ideal. But it looks like that won't be the case here. There's just a little bit too much in the way of tools to get away. But I say that, and he comes right back. So Ilya gonna have a free exile for him, keeping the health up, keeping nice and healthy here. But I mean, Ilya just had a bit of an easier time there. That's an easy exile for some easy 15 points. Now we have Stackery going to go ahead and get Dewey out of this lobby here, or at least disrupted. Raikota's being collapsed on here, but fireballs will be enough to solve that problem. Now looking for the Frost. Not going to land that one, but looking for the second round. The full squad exile looking to come out here pretty soon. Raikota with the excellent movement and the follow-up from Stackery. Going to be a full squad wipe. Looks like we might have a bit of a third-party situation, though. Yet another fight coming out. They are pretty healthy to take this one on, though, so not that big of a problem. And look at that. We're seeing some farming coming out from this beautiful team of Team Easy Clap.
Yeah, Raikota doing a really good job of landing fireballs from that mid-range. It does look easy the way he's doing it, but it's not the most simple shot to hit. You have to balance it off of terrain as well. Raikota getting a bit of a benefit from that Pyro passive with the 200% AoE, but he's still just laying out the pressure. Can he get the kill shot, though? 50 with the damage off that Frost. He does take a Frost in return, though, just trying to hunt down this opponent, but he overextended hard. He's down to just Flex. Two people on both sides. Raikota has to be careful now. Stackery does get the kill into Dark Phoenix, and we will see the rest of his team try to support him. Raikota knows that he's low. His teammates are trying to take a bit of the brunt. And Raikota, though, still getting chased down, backing up, has so many pots to drink, but just has to get himself the space to do it.
Yeah, this is definitely the smart play here. Don't want to do anything too risky in this kind of environment. There are better than average teams coming out. Actually, some of the best teams. So definitely an opportunity being looked for by them to get a third-party situation going and also a free exile. So Raikota taking the safe option, getting some nice heals up. Those small potions are going to be great for that. And Tiger 2K going to go ahead and seal out that last little kill onto Campstern. So that's just another 45 points going to be funneled right into Team Easy Clap's pocket. So they're actually having a pretty good game here, sitting in sixth place before the disqualification here. They might even break top 5 at this rate.
Yeah, definitely a really great start here in Game 6. Remember, 3 matches left to go, so these teams are going to have to stay consistent over all 3 games to challenge Team Dark Horse. You cannot just have one pop-off performance to challenge their #1 spot. It has to be consistent. Speaking of Team Dark Horse now, we're looking right at their angle. Megaverse is into an almost 1v1, but it's going to break down into the full 3v3. Both teams unfolding as now you see this player trying to get onto the backline, but Megaverse is going to track him down. And look at the burst that they lay out on this poor player. Hakuza gets popped, OSK.
What are all these Dragonfire tornadoes coming out of the wood? Is this some kind of new strategy that I'm just not aware of? Like, what is this coming from? Oh, Megaverse! That is disgusting, my man. The boulder into aerial fireball. Oh my gosh, he's styled on that, man. Oh my goodness, plays. This is too much for me, man. You're gonna have to take it from here. Oh man, that's disgusting.
Yeah, if you guys were watching yesterday's Proletariat Stone panel, or I believe it was yesterday or the day before, Megaverse was on there talking about combos that you can run with Stone Shaper, and there, right in front of your faces, you saw one of those combos come out. Massive damage and some beautiful mechanics as well for Megaverse. We've got 16 people left in this game, and OSK, Team Dark Horse is in prime position to take this dub.
Man, like we were saying earlier, this is really just a misnomer from Team Dark Horse. Why would you call yourselves that when you're the obvious front runner right now? I mean, you're seeing Megaverse Player 2 and Chaos doing some great work on the NA side of things, and I mean, they're just really following it up so well coming into the EU side of things. They didn't really have the best showing in Game 5, but man, that's just a throwaway game as far as they're concerned. They still have 3 more games to really bump up those numbers, and they're doing a great job of it so far. Now we're looking at Papega Dragon Pod Cannon looking pretty healthy in terms of, well, their health and shield, and looking pretty healthy in terms of positioning as well. Yeah, obvious comment is obvious. Feel free to flame me in Twitch chat if you want to.
That's some beautiful color coming out right there from OSK, dropping that commentary. As we see Ilya dropping some shots of his own. Doesn't quite get to land anything, though. Shooting out into the distance, trying to hit 2 different targets at once. That focused mana would benefit so much from that extra damage if he can connect, but it won't quite go. We see 16 people left in this game, and I'm predicting quite a mess at the end of this fight. There's going to be a massive congregation of teams in the final circle, and I'm hoping that we see a pop-off performance from one of these squadrons. It does look like Dark Horse is in the position to make that pop-off happen, but you never know. Team Papega Dragon has been playing quite well in this match, OSK. They have a chance to turn it.
Ooh, can see through rocks. Ilya with the 420 degrees of vision, it looks like. And now we have Takeo Cookies going to be looking for some vision himself. There's a nice little hood going on right here. I'm not really sure what skin this is, but it does look pretty nice, I have to say. They're going to be looking to rotate off to this mountain here, but it will be just out of the zone. So only a temporary fix for their positioning problems, but still a good fix nonetheless. Now looking to rotate up with the rest of their team. It looks like they are lagging behind just a little bit, but Takeo Cookies has some good long range to provide some support. Yeah, it looks like they're being chased over. Looks like this might be Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon getting some damage off to them, but that's a big boulder going to be coming out. And there's 4 for free. Let's see if any damage lands. Looks like it might be just a little bit short. So there's that advantage. Going to go ahead and be burned. Not sure if that was the right decision, but we'll put a rain check on that coming into the late game. They still have 3 stuns in their kit, though, to Takeo Cookies. So we'll have to see if that works out well for him as well. There's 1 lightning strike coming out and 2 remaining plays.
Yeah, well, he's just caught on this backside, though. Look at this. He's boxed into the storm, and the rest of his team is as well. To get out of this position, they're going to have to make an aggressive push, and it looks like that's what they're doing, but it's too late now. Takeo Cookies gets hit with a huge frost shot, and he is just down to low HP now, trying to make his way out here. Safeguard Potion will get drank in a second here if he decides to take it, but his team is in a tight spot. You see another fight breaking down right in front of him as well. Ilya seems to have taken himself out, and Takeo Cookies will get a little second here to take a potion.
I don't blame Ilya, you know? Bit of a chaotic circle. Maybe it's just too much to handle. Hopefully the rest of his team can get those spirits back up and get his life back up as they are looking for a res here. Looks like we have Team Dark Horse, though, doing Dark Horse things. Looking for a little bit of snipe is Chaos on that controller and gonna just miss off of that one there, but looking for the lineup on the second shot. Not gonna connect that one either. Now player 2 gonna get punished for a little bit of mispositioning here. Chaos and Megaverse will have to do everything they can to try to mitigate that fact. It looks like player 2 is a little bit too separated out from them, so that might be a thirst. We'll have to put a rain check on that, keep an eye on the kill feed, but Megaverse keeping an eye out, looking to land a boulder, I would imagine. Player 2 is doing a great job of maneuvering towards Chaos here under the bridge, and that's going to be a very well shielded area to get a res off, so we'll have to see how that plays out for them. But in the meantime, we do have Level and Bowl Cut getting some great damage and some great disruptions in the kill feed there. You do see them, Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon doing great in terms of that. 2 thirsts on the way, so it looks like that'll be 2 exiles for Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon. And now we have, looks like Shako here. That's going to be Team Knocking Clutcher. Not really as many exiles as you would like to see in comparison to game number 5, but still plenty of opportunity to take a first place finish. We'll have to see how it plays out for them. That's going to be a stun, though. That's going to be 2 stuns, actually, as Shako looking to land some damage.
Yeah, Shako does get a little bit off there, but has to back up. His team is in a backside position, 14 people left in the game, and with this circle on Verdun Estate, it's going to be quite an interesting fight. Shako is going to get himself back up onto some high ground, looking for the lightning bolts. Has to be careful, because there's frost shots coming from everywhere. Now he's getting up onto the high ground once again. Shako using that conduit to his advantage, but also getting beamed from the side. His teammates are still full HP and armor for the most part, so they're not in a major pressure situation. But as this circle starts to shrink in about 5 seconds, OSK, the pressure is going to start building on every team remaining here.
I'll tell you what, the pressure is going to be huge for Team Knocking Clutcher, though. Their area of, their safe little area right there is going to be completely closed out, as they have a lot of room to cover here. Thankfully, Shaco's able to land quite a bit of damage. That's a big slap coming out as well on the Focus Mana and Power Surge combo. And now looking to rotate out, looking for a nice little flick from the Shadow Step into a Toxic Slap. His teammate Ioder will go ahead and seal out a nice disruption. So that'll be a good boon to them. Be careful of that Fracture, my man. We've seen one person go down there and it didn't result well for them. Now Shako gonna get blown up by Ilya. That is some huge damage coming out. Voosh and Takeo Cookies looks like died to the zone. So for that squad, they will be down quite a bit. That's actually Delicious Wet Fish going to go down. I believe that that would be the last member of their team, and it looks like it is. Shays Belays going to be out of this one, as now we are left with 4 squads. Make that 3, because Dark Horse is farming out here.
Yeah, Dark Horse did get some nice little kills up there. You see in the kill feed getting the wipe onto Ilya and the rest of Pepega Dragon. Player 2 will get the potion as well. 7 people left in the game, and they will clean this one up. 1 player remaining, and they are just on the hunt to find the remaining player. Looking for that shot. Player 2 is just getting some YouTube highlight clips if he can, and that will be the end of Game 6. taking out Gold Deer. We got a note though, OSK. Dark Horse definitely had a really convincing game in there, but Dapper Fellows finished second. And last match, they finished first. So Dapper Fellows is still out here, still putting in some good work.
Yeah, definitely still in the running here. And again, I mean, I'm going to mention it now until the end of time. Only the best 6 games are being taken. So that placement definitely going to help them drop game number 1 there. So we'll have to see how that plays out here with the 2 remaining matches to go. We are going to be getting into game 7 here pretty shortly. So far, Dark Horse looking pretty good, looking like they might take the whole thing. And I'm not sure if there's anyone that can stop them at this point.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they just come out and like the thing that is most notable about their gameplay in that match specifically is the way that when we talked about their individual skill, we talked about how because they haven't scrimmed together, how are they going to work as a unit? Is that going to be something that causes them troubles? From what I've seen and what I just saw in that match, their coordination is on point. It's just like the rest of these teams that have been practicing for months.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really, really nice whenever you can have a squad full of 3 playmakers. Not only like, yes, they can do support. I would imagine that a lot of people can do support, but not everybody can make those huge plays that you like to see coming out here in these events. So I do believe that Player 2 and Megaverse together, at the very least, can definitely get a lot of work done. Chaos proving that he can keep up with them as well on the snipes and on the fire damage. So they just really have brought together, I don't want to say the dream team. It seems a little bit too much, but you know, I might not be wrong either. So they're just doing great. Playmakers all on a full squad, 3 playmakers making 3 members of a squad. It's a great thing to behold. Of course, we can't take away from Dapper Fellows there. Goldier, the remaining member of their squad for Dapper Fellows, doing a great job of keeping the placement high, even though they might not have had the best game in terms of exiles and damage, still in the running for this final finish.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, we just talked about how they have 3 playmakers on their team. And not only that, but these playmakers are coming in here and they're playing with confidence. You saw Chaos in most of the matches we've seen. Every time it seems that we get on his perspective, every time we're watching Chaos, he just pops off. That has to be a consistent fact at this point. We do need to discuss, though, teams like Nakenklatcher, who have been having great matches. Seems like Shaco is getting a lot of attention on the camera due to how well he is playing. Well-deserved a bit of camera perspective from him, and we'll see if he can pick it up. I mean, we only have 2 more games, though, ladies and gentlemen. As fast as this qualifier is moving, we got to remember that there's only 2 more matches to go. So there's not much space left for these teams to perform. It's going to be now or never, OSK.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their placements and their scores so far with Nakenklatcher. They have to have 2 blowout games to really stand a chance going for the first place finish. They cannot afford to die early. They cannot afford to die middle. They pretty much have to carry these next 2 games on their home server if they're going to have a chance to finish out with first place. But so far, Dark Horse going to be making that very, very difficult. We'll have to see how they end up finishing here in these last few events. Basically, the way I see it here, Dapper Fellows and Dark Horse have to have kind of a bad game going into game 7, similar to what they had in game 5, and Nakenklatcher needs to have an absolute sweep. So we'll have to see how that plays out for you guys. Shaco, I would imagine, wants to really open up and spread his wings a little bit. Going to go ahead and show how the rest of his what the rest of his squad is made of here. But again, it has to be big, has to be huge.
I see a really great point being brought up in chat. And while we're going to be talking about the teams, I should raise this for sure. Cactus Lord saying that Shays Blaze is a console team that is trying. They are doing more than trying. I personally think they're doing a fantastic job in these matches. I mean, we saw for a fact, we were watching the angle of Takeo Cookies and Delicious Wet Fish, and they were making some fantastic plays. Really great point, and I'm glad you raised that because we got to make sure we're talking about all the participants here. Everyone is doing a really good job of putting in some high competition games.
Yeah, definitely. Nothing but good things to say about Shays Blaze. I mean, they are still in the top 5 finishers so far, and I mean, they have plenty of opportunities to really open this up for themselves as well. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get enough points to get a first place finish, given that first place is about double their points as of right now. But again, nothing to shake out. I mean, they have 2 PS4 players. I'm not sure if one of them is just playing controller on PC for right now, given the way the queue system works. But yeah, definitely something to be impressed about. The console players are showing themselves, and it's a good showing. I do have to say, it's a good showing. Very good showing.
And something I want to
course.
talk about really
Yeah.
quickly, because you just mentioned that even though they're in that bottom five, or they're in the top five section, and they don't look like they'll get a chance at the first place finish or maybe a chance to get into the finals, we got to remind you guys that there's more events coming out. This is not the end of competitive Spellbreak. So these teams, such as Shays Blaze, coming in, having a really solid performance in their first tournament or their first qualifier, just sets them up for more success in future events. It's not over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely not. And if it's any indication as to what's to come in the future of Element, we do have some console scrims being prepared for you guys. And what does it mean whenever we have some specific kind of scrims plays? What does that usually mean? Can you enlighten me?
You got me lost here, Chief.
Hey, if we're having console scrims, what could possibly come out of scrims?
Skins?
You're getting closer.
You're going to have to lob it up here.
Y'all can figure it out in the chat. I'm not going to explicitly say it, but it is being prepared. Those of you that know, who know. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Shays Belay making some great preparation against some of the best players in the world on PC. That always has to be mentioned here. This isn't just your average, ordinary, for fun tournament. These are some of the best players who have ever played Spellbreak coming out and playing against you in these tournaments. So definitely have to keep that in mind going forward here. Again, 2 more games of action looking to drop in here pretty quickly. So we'll be on the way with that here. Now let's talk about Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon. They initially came out swinging pretty hard starting in game number 2. I would very much like to see a repeat of that going into game number 7 and 8. And similar to Knocking Clutch and Dapper Fellows, they will have to have a very big showing coming into these last 2 games to have a chance to hit that first place finish. What do you think needs to change coming into this next game?
I think what they need to do is just get a nice angle. And I mean, this is what we talk about every time, right? What they need to change is they need to get a little bit of RNG on their side. They need to find a third-party angle and really just capitalize on it. And as much as the VR system has RNG that we don't like, when you have to deal with it, you need to just take advantage of it. So we see Stackery here, doesn't quite finish the kill. It's unfortunate to say the least. And we see him working his way up forward, trying to get the last little bit of damage onto this target. The Wolf's Blood is helping him track just a little bit extra, and he's got that Knowledge Potion in the pocket as well. Common Fire, not much damage, but he will probably finish this kill. His teammate is on the far side, Tiger 2K, trying to get that exile, but it looks like Vital Stone, for the first time in history, may have actually been effective. Never mind, he still gets exiled.
The bait and switch, man, that's disrespectful plays. Come on, say sorry for that one. But in the meantime, we have to keep an eye on the kill feed here. Takeo Cookie is going to seal out the exile here onto one of our teams. That's going to be the green slot's going to go out to, again, Shays Belays. So the console players, definitely nothing to shake your head at. I mean, they are doing some work. And as I say that, we see Shaco in the kill feed, knocking Slotchin, really making some progress towards that pop-off game that they desperately need in these next 2 games. They're doing so well so far, already taking the early advantage, and it looks like Shaco already has a rare lightning. That's going to be huge, but what's also huge is the damage from that Dragon Fire, and Shaco will have to reset off of this.
Yeah, he definitely needs a little bit more space. I mean, he's been having some fantastic games. It would be a heartbreaker to see him drop early. Steals a kill right from out under his teammate. Love to see that one right there. Pad the stats, my friend. Get it credited to yourself as we see more players are in front of them. Shaco has to be careful. He does know that somebody must be in this area. We can't quite hear what he's hearing, but he must have some sort of audio check that's telling him somebody's potting or somebody's around him. You see Shaco now dropping 7 damage with that lightning bolt. Doesn't quite get the line of sight that he needs, but needs to go support his team now. Ioder is fighting one-on-one, but look at the melt. Look at the coordinated damage as they just put in the burst on the melt. And that will be a fall as well, though. Look at the kill feed. Team Dark Horse is putting in work as well. Megaverse gets a drop at the same time as player 2, and we see the final player from this team just get deleted.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's disgusting, my man. You just see all the damage coming out from Conduit so far. And that's a mix of potential energy and also the focus mana, the incredibly high damage variant of this class, man. It can be disgusting sometimes. And Shaco just saying, hey man, just like my League of Legends namesake, I can also be disgusting on this class. And look at this, the thirst coming out. That's 3 exiles credited to him alone, as well as spreading the love to some of his other teammates. So they're sitting very, very well going into this mid game. And as I'm saying that here, definitely have to keep in mind that in the kill feed, do see a nice little thirst coming off of Megaverse. So Dark Horse might still be looking to keep the competition hot here. It looks like this is Megaverse on the Stone Shaper here. This might be a bit of a fight here for Team Easy Clap. And look at that, that's player 2 sealing out Raikoda.
Yeah, really cool play right there, though. You saw player 2 throw down some puddles, stick Raikoda to the floor, and then Megaverse just capitalized on that CC and blew him up. Really good teamwork coming out here from Team Dark Horse. 2 kills to player 2's name, and it looks like the fight will also. It looks like the third party's coming in now as Chaos is getting low. Player 2 does have a bit of room to pot, but it does not dissolve into anything. Chaos actually just sits down Master Demon, and they get away with that one. More loot for them to share.
Yeah, speaking of dissolve, I mean, Master Demon's plan, whatever it was, it seems to have dissolved at this point. Looks like they're going to be funneling a little bit into player 2. You can see the knowledge potion in his inventory so far, so definitely keep an eye out for that in their next fight or potentially late game. I know that player 2 in particular likes to save his knowledge potions for the later part of the game, just so he can go ahead and really blow up the enemy team all at once. You don't really want to waste any of those knowledge potions on easy wins. So definitely something to keep an eye on for the future here. In the meantime, we have Bold Cut going to go ahead and lay down a bit of Dragonfire, clear out the flame wall for the rest of his team, and looking to reset, get some nice shields back. Now looking for the re-engage. Is rocking the Toxicologist, so looking for an outbreak. Not going to find one there, but he is going to find a nice little hidey hole, getting Ilya back up, I would imagine.
Yeah, Volcut will look to get his pots now. Might go for the res as well. You see that happening right in front of him. He has a sneaky angle here as Lavelle gets disrupted. The other team is trying to figure out exactly what just happened, but it's too late. The res has come through, and now Volcut will get away. Ilya does not survive much longer. Even though he gets picked up, he gets put right back down just as fast. Volcut, I think, has to make the executive decision to just peel out of this fight, maybe just rotate around the side of the hill, get out of this maze, and forget about your teammates, my friend. Take Yo Cookies is already taking that exile.
Dang, Shays Belays. Okay. Getting Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon out a little bit. I would actually venture to call that an upset, but maybe I'm wrong. I do believe that would be an upset in my book. I know that Ilya and Lovell do a great job of coming out here day in and day out and getting their scrims in, really proving that they are prominent members of the community to be so consistent in their performances. But man, these console players with Shays Belays really saying, hey, there's some new kids on the block. You better watch out for me because I'm out here exiling your butt in qualifiers. So we'll have to keep an eye on them, keep rain check on how they're going to be going for the rest of this event. But now we see Ioder trying to land a little bit of damage here. A little bit of a frost, not going to get anything on that one. But looking for the next one. Oh, that was so close. Just a little bit too early on the pull of the Frost Lance. Just going to barely miss him. Now he's going to opt to rotate in. Looking for a little bit of better loot. I would imagine the epic loot is what he is searching for. Or actually maybe a little bit of talent scrolls. He is going to ping that one out for the rest of his teammates. And kind of pretty here. Resetting pretty nicely. Getting the pre-pot going. And just looking for any extra damage that he can put off to the rest of this squad he's approaching.
Yeah, just waiting patiently to get themselves in the backside of this circle. Don't want to rush it. They know that there's likely going to be teams waiting for them on the inside. There it is. We see a firewall. Shots coming out from Ioder, but it doesn't quite land. Going to be watching this fight carefully as we see multiple teams converging around this spot. This could be such a great angle for the team. Ioder gets a 50 damage shot. Oh, walks right into the wrong target as Ioder will just slap him in the face, looking for the kill now after Vital Stone. A little bit of quick lag. Looks like it disrupts it, but it gets through. Ioder plants a beautiful Frost Snipe to finish off that disruption. Megaverse is also in the kill feed, getting a disrupt of the Swift Turtle. Ioder is doing his best, shooting the ice just barely over the cover line, trying to connect with some foreheads.
Oh man, forehead indeed. I'm looking for some Captain Obvious comments here in the chat for forehead. But anyway, looks like we'll get the full thirst onto Campstern here. And actually, Megaverse in the kill feed, that's a full exile onto Swift Turtle. So it's not just a disrupt. They're actually out of the game now, along with the rest of their team, as you see Chaos get the disrupt there. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the scores here going in. But now we're looking at Team Knockenklotchen really proving that they belong in this tournament here. They are on their home server. Going to get blown up a little bit by player 2. This could get a little dangerous. Ioder looking to make some plays, though. Going to go ahead and get a freeze out onto Megaverse. That's going to be some big opportunity, but it's not going to be enough. Megaverse going to get Ioder out of this lobby. Now it is a 3v1 situation. Dark Horse might just run them over, plays.
Yeah, it looks like that way as player 2 does get his safeguard potion off, will be almost full HP and armor after that one ticks through. Player 2 now rotating even farther forward, does have both of those vanishing mists in his pocket if he needs them. Hits a nice frost, but can't quite get the follow-up. Waiting for this firewall to dissipate so he can shoot into the middle now. Look at all the action in the center. OSK, there's multiple teams spotted up right in the center. Oh! Player 2 just beams M-Dash down off the roof. Nice snipe as he retreats to take a pot. Quick little shot to get him a little bit of extra score.
Yeah, that's going to be team knocking Clutcher out out of the lobby here. So unfortunately, not able to get their score up. That is going to hurt them tremendously going into our final scores with game number 7. Not too many opportunities left to really get those points up. So Dark Horse really just taking advantage of this competition. This might be a foregone conclusion at this point, but we'll have to see how everything plays out. It is not over until the fat lady sings, and she is only warming up right now. So no performance to be had so far. Now we have player 2 looking to rotate around this house. Everyone kind of knows where he is, though. It's not really like he's making it too sneaky, but this is a great position to have nonetheless. Going to get some great melt onto the shields here, but is a little bit extended here, but that's a great follow-up from Megaverse. This is a great opportunity for them to get some big damage out. Megaverse really rotating around very, very well. You can see Chaos laying down the damage from long range. Stakio Cookies will go down to his Frost Lance, as now we see just a little bit more of a rotation here. Player 2 getting the Thirsty up, getting that residual bit of healing. Chaos going to clean up Delicious Wet Fish. That is a cooked fish, and it is delicious, says Chaos. Now looking for a little bit of a reposition from player 2, looking to get a little bit of damage coming out. Going to just barely dodge the Ice Lance here. Player 2 looking for a bit of a play, making sure that they're not being approached on, making sure that they can get to a dominant position. Going to have a little bit of trouble sealing out this last little teammate, and this might be an opportunity for Team Shays Belays to get the rest of their members up. Player 2 trying to make it not happen, but it might just be too late for them. As we say, that looks like Hermaeus Mora is going to die of the fracture.
Yeah, unlucky. We don't know the situation there, if it's Fracture or Storm that caused that death. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it's Storm, but now we see player 2's angle. Player 2 is waiting on this high ground. He's been hitting some nice shots today. I see people in the chat talking about him playing out of his mind, and you guys are certainly correct about that one. We'll see if he can really follow this one up with a W in game 7, shooting up over the top of the cover, trying to get something to land, maybe looking for that quick toxic spray. You see him gardening. Looks like OSK, they're going to be going on the aggressive here, pushing straight into this other team. Player 2 not stopping with the toxic spray, but he's down to low armor now, stepped on a couple puddles, and it's going to be up to his teammates to lead the charge now.
Yeah, what's that saying that they always say? I'd rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war, but player 2 just saying, hey, I can do both, you know? I'm out here, I'm gardening in the war, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of cabbages going out and they're all being set ablaze. Not going to get any damage off to the enemy team, but still providing a lot of pressure for the rest of them. Now we're looking to just sort of re-engage here, get the quick reset off his player 2. That's actually going to be huge for the rest of his teammates as well. That residual healing, coupled with the recovery that they are undoubtedly running, is going to be great going into these last little bit of engagement. So just free heals coming out for player 2, being very efficient with this kit. As we're saying, that bowl cut is going to go ahead and get a nice X out onto Pomeranian War Dog. But in the meantime, player 2 looking to garden just a little bit more with all this damage.
Yeah, Pomeranian War Dog. That is a very interesting name. He will drop down, though. Looks like we have 3 teams remaining, including Team Dark Horse. And Team Dark Horse is completely full HP, full armor. Player 2 is ready and in position to take advantage of this fight, and they are going to actually get the third-party opportunity as well. OSK, we talked about what it would take to destroy or take down Team Dark Horse, and this is not it. Giving them the third-party angle in the final circle is certainly not how anything is going to change. Dark Horse looks to be in control of this final fight.
And we really just go back to the misnomer of Dark Horse here. I mean, I would call them the clear front runners even just going in to this tournament. And yeah, Dark Horse definitely not accurate at all. As you can see, player 2 going to go ahead and slap around Takeo Cookies, and that's going to be the third party coming out from Team Dapper Fellows to get the rest of that. Bowl cut going to die to the zone or die to the fracture, not sure which, but it doesn't matter because player 2 says this is fresh meat on the table and I am not going to pass it up. Meanwhile, Chaos will seal out the exile with a nice Frostbolt.
Yeah, certainly finishing that one off with a clean little flick, and that will take us to game 8 coming up next. The last match of the qualifier. OSK, this has blown by. Such a fast set of games. All of the pace in each match just seems to be getting faster and faster, but nonetheless, looks like Team Dark Horse is going to be taking this one home.
Yeah, man. Dark Horse, not a great team name. You need to call yourself a little bit of frontliner or something, headliner, whatever you want to call yourself. Dark Horse is not the way to go. But in the meantime, we do have to discuss how Knockenklotcher definitely made themselves known in this one. They did get quite a bit of points, and they are actually past the 2,000 score mark going in here. If you ever have a question about these scores, by the way, you can always type in exclamation scores. Those of you that don't know, go ahead and see where we are standing with our current standings. Going into game 8, man, I'm not sure if anything's going to change, but basically Dark Horse, well, even if they have a bad early drop, I mean, they're only taking the best 6 out of 8 games. So this honestly, unless Knockenklotcher can get like an 800-point game, this might just be done.
Yeah, I mean, I have an interesting question for you and for chat, OSK. I want to hear your guys' opinion on who the MVP of today's event has been so far. I want to hear it from you, but I also want to hear what chat thinks. Who do you think on Team Dark Horse or maybe on a different team deserves MVP of today's event? What's your opinion?
That's a tough question, my man. Judging off of what I'm seeing in the scores, it looks like it would have to be player 2. I do have the benefit of looking at the scores right now in front of me and judging based on who's sealing out the most damage, who's sealing out the most exiles. It's very, very close between all 3 of them. But player 2 is just inching everybody out from what I can see, from what I can get by my quick scan. So really, I mean, this, instead of calling him an MVP, this really just goes to show like just how even all these players on Dark Horse are. I mean, all 3 of them are doing really great. I know it's a cop-out answer, but I mean, it's just what the scores are showing me. They're all doing fantastic. Chaos is carrying a game, Megaverse carries 1 or 2, and player 2 carries the rest. So, I mean, they all have something to offer here.
OSK, I love you, but that was a cop-out answer if I have ever heard
Look,
one.
I said player 2 at first, my guy. I led with that. Give me some credit, okay?
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think player 2 deserves the MVP, but you are making some really solid points. I mean, Chaos is up there. It is between those 2 in the MVP category. Hearing some words in chat from everybody else's opinion, very interesting to see. We'll see who can really finish off the game 8. We got one more match remaining until we wrap up the entire event, and it has been a blast so far today. One thing I want to bring up while we talk about the MVP discussion, though, is obviously I'm obliged to give the MVP to somebody in Team Dark Horse. They are the leading team, but I want to mention Shaco. I think he's been playing so well in these games. It might not be the MVP award, but there's got to be something to be given to him because he's been playing fantastic.
Absolutely. We might call it a blowout performance, best blowout performance in a game, especially in game 5. They really came online, sealing out those 9 exiles, almost making it 10. Just couldn't quite seal it out there at the end. But my goodness, was he putting down the disruptions towards the end of that late game circle. It's just unfortunate that he didn't have a squad to back him up at the time, but still tons of damage going his way. And man, if it was a solo environment, I would be so scared of him right now. But coming into game number 8, we are getting into our last little bit of squads. So have to mention that Team Dark Horse, of course, doing very, very well for themselves. Dapper Fellow actually keeping it a very, very close contention for 2nd and 3rd. So we'll have to see if they can pull ahead. Every little bit counts in terms of the rest of these games. And again, Dapper Fellows in particular had a really, really bad showing with their crashing and the lack of Q in game number 1. So going through their games here, I'm seeing if they have another low showing. Looks like game 4 wasn't very kind to them, and game 6 as well. So if they can have a really, really good performance coming out here in game number 8, they might take 2nd place.
Yeah, that's a great point you raised. And also, I do want to address something in chat. Tempo Go Fast says it's SK Shaco. Thank you very much for that correction. I always got to remember that he is a member of Team Silent Kill. So when I'm talking about Shaco, it is the same person, SK Shaco. He just has a slightly different name for this qualifier, but nonetheless, great correction. Thank you for picking up on that one. Got to make sure we're giving credit to the right people where credit is due. And we got one more game to go, OSK. We're hearing right now in our earbuds that it is about to get dropped in, and we are about to wrap up today's event. What a banger it has been so far.
What a banger indeed. And unlike those other bangers we like to talk about, instead of dropping the base, we'll be dropping some exiles and dropping right into these hollow lanes very, very quickly. And look at that. My timing is impeccable as always. No voice cue from our production crew, but that's okay. I got the predictions. Now we have player 2 going to come out here, but Toys gonna actually get Chaos down as well as player 2. So it is just Megaverse trying to fight this off. This might be a prime opportunity for one of our other squads to get a really, really high score game. But Megaverse being just surrounded right now. It is a 1v3 situation, actually a 1v2. This might be the end of Team Dark Horse.
Yeah, we'll see if Megaverse can actually pull out some clutch plays. Now, this would be the cherry on top after the games that Team Dark Horse has been having. Megaverse pulling out the 1v3 situation to get his team staying alive in Game 8. 35 people left. And as you watch the kill feed, it looks like that's exactly what happens. Megaverse finishes off the clutch, and OSK, Team Dark Horse will continue to live.
Oh my, that was really, really good. I mean, of course it was good, but my goodness, I did not expect him to pull that one out, actually, with the noodle, no less. He is just really showing just how confident he is going into this last little engagement, even though the other team is playing so well, staying off the ground, that he's required to use the noodle. I mean, we're just seeing right here, he definitely has the wherewithal and the accuracy that you need for this sort of engagement. So Megaverse with the hard carry in the early game. And as well, I also want to point out that in the kill feed early on, we did see a quick little squad wipe from Knockenclotcher as well. So this is shaping up to be quite a close Game 8.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm excited to see how it all results. Iodir gets a kill right as you say that onto Naratele, and the Chaos is just posted up, waiting for some boots. This is one of the most painful parts of Spellbreak, is when you drop and you can't find that set of boots. The move speed is painful, and it looks like Chaos is just resigned to tabbing out and changing his playlist or something like that, as he's going to continue looting up. He has been rocking focused mana all day, and I know that that's a common choice on Pyro, but why don't you break down just a little bit about the pros and cons of taking focused mana in a situation like this?
Well, I mean, do you want extra movement or do you want extra damage? And I mean, in this squad environment, like, yes, maybe you would take some extra movement in a solo environment, but squads can cover your mispositioning so well that really, if you can get some higher damage, that's just an easier time of focusing down your opponents if you do decide to do that. Of course, with the kit that he's currently running with Fire and Frost, definitely the ideal one to run. And now we're seeing Ilya going to go ahead and take out Raikota. Stackery is not far behind him, as he is only with 30 HP, and that's going to be cut down to 0. Tiger 2K, the only one left on this squad, and it's Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon looking like going to take out Tiger 2K for a full squad wipe here in 3, 2, 1, and we're still waiting.
This will be the end of Team Easy Clap's round right now. If Tiger 2K is to fall, there it is, a little bit after your call, OSK, but nonetheless, they will drop to Team Pepega Dragon, and that will be the end of their match. Game 8 on the books right now. Lavelle has been rocking this Featherfall Pyro build today. Very interesting to see him try to this one out, and I'm also surprised to see Featherfall come out in this context. Getting over to player 2 now, though. He's jumping over into the front side, trying to get an Outbreak slap. Only hits for 21. Now you see him throw down a beautiful firewall. Player 2 getting right up in there, but missing the quick flick with Outbreak. Gonna try one more time, but these shots just aren't quite connecting. Blows up the DF, but that doesn't go either. Does manage to secure the kill with a quick little toxic slap, and the rest of his team should be calm and ready to finish off this wipe.
Yeah, just one more to go, and I would imagine that the rest of that squad went ahead and fled away, as they don't want any part of the rest of this damage here. And it will be a thirst going on to Hakuza here. Megaverse doing a great job getting that loot over to player 2. And that's going to be another thirst coming out, I would imagine, onto Minty Fresh. Megaverse taking care of that as well, and yes, that will be the case. Looks like player 2 is going to be nice and looted up here. Going to go ahead and get those epics off, and it looks like a little bit of knowledge is going his way as well. He says, back off my little scroll right here. This is my thirsty talent. This is my way of helping you guys out. It's actually a very smart move, as they can definitely get some faster heals out to the rest of their squad. It's going to benefit everybody if player 2 gets that last little point into thirsty. So interesting decision, but ultimately the correct one in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. I mean, player 2 is going to have to try his best to have a pop-off, but One of my favorite things about situations like this, where the team who's leading the qualifier significantly is still in the final rounds, I just want to see some highlight plays. There's not much for them to lose. I want to see player two just go for some crazy 1v3 toxicologist action. That's what I'm hoping to see. We'll see if that really is what results out of this game. We know that Ilya is
Focus
still
mana.
in the match. Focus mana, got that full triple stack, so the outbreak damage could be a potential close to one shot. We're looking over at One Almond Wizard on the PS4. Got to respect that console gameplay as we see him taking that teleport down to the low ground. His teammates are just trying to rotate with him as you see SK Shaco getting a kill onto Toxic Akut and the rest of the team rolling through. Toxic slaps coming, but nothing really landing. Finally will go down, Dark Phoenix falls, and One Almond Wizard will benefit with a little bit of loot. Also, I want to mention that he is rocking a very interesting talent build. The Harmony and the Foresight with no other talent.
Interesting. Going on the Toxicologist, no less. Usually we like to see that on a backliner, usually a conduit. You replace Fervor with Foresight, just like how I believe it was Team Wind Goes Burr had that set up onto Chris, along with an enlargement of the mini-map through your settings. So interesting that we're going with the Harmony and Foresight way of doing it. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out for him. Hasn't been working out too well earlier on in the tournament, but we'll see how it works out in game 8 here. Now we have Bolcut getting some nice damage onto Takeo Cookies, and that's going to be Ilya sealing out the rest of it onto Shay's Blaze. So they will be knocked out of this tournament once and for all. That's game 8, and that's a nice little exile. Ilya going to go down saying, hey, I can get a little bit more health restored if I just get restored right here. I can get 40 instead of having to burn through all of my health potions. I wouldn't call that an exploit, but that is a very, very smart way to do it if you were.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an exploit because of the inherent risk involved. When you do disrupt yourself, you open yourself, like there's pros and cons to it. And in my mind, an exploit is something that you can use and there is no downside, or the upside way outweighs the downside. And in this case, I think disrupting yourself and putting yourself open vulnerable for 5 seconds is a very balanced pros and cons. So as we develop that discussion of exploits, I think those points are important to raise. Bolcut, nonetheless, making his way through with that Fortitude build. More and more, we are seeing that on Toxicologists, and it's very interesting to see that composition.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I said I wouldn't really call it an exploit. It's a very, very risky thing to do, but ultimately it can definitely save you a little bit of resources, and you know how low that gets going into the late game scenarios. If you don't have enough resources, then you're kind of just, out of luck at that point. So very, very smart heads up move to go ahead and get that res up to save, even if it's just a little bit of health. It's all going to add up there at the end. Now we're seeing Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon kind of rotate off towards this mana vault. I'm not sure if they want to take it. Their loot's looking pretty good so far, but a little bit of extra power never hurts. Bolcut, we can see, has a little bit of knowledge going his way on the flash freeze, but nothing really meaningful in terms of his Toxicologist kit. So we'll have to see if they are looking to change that, looking to take control of this Verdant Estate, this maze area. If they can really take this over. They do have some decent overview of the land around them, and that's Bolcut right here, making great use of that, trying to land a bit of a frost. Going to opt off right now. The opponent knows what he's trying to do, sees the bright light from Fortitude, and just playing it safe for right now.
Yeah, definitely just sitting on the backside, though. The pings do come out. The communication is happening in their Discord, waiting to make that move forward. Bolcut44 watching patiently from a distance. I do feel like he should walk a little bit farther up. He is on Toxicologist, and they're going to need his burst. This has been a bit of a mid-game lull, too. I think it's the first we've seen today. We still have 14 people left in this game now. Bolcut44 just barely missing these shots, and they are in a very awkward spot. Both teams are in the storm. Doesn't do very much damage thanks to most players running recovery and it being early in the match, but nonetheless it does take a different set to this composition of the fight. They're gonna have to try to play around the storm, play around the difference in vision, as you see Lavelle taking a clean 1v1. Bolcut44 gonna interrupt, but it's too late. Lavelle does disrupt Lando 616, and they will try to rotate out, but the boulders are falling on them like hail. Moving up now, Bolcut44 getting a pot. You see the shockwave, he sidesteps it so close. OSK, this is going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I knew that you saw that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where they're like, hey, Oh, that would be Iota going to go ahead and get the rest of that. But a nice snipe coming out from Bowl Cut, looking to make it 2 more for the rest of this health. Going to get his Fortitude knocked off for the trouble. And you're really seeing that's an interesting decision to start running Fortitude the way that people are. It's one of the better filler talents, I would say. It's probably not something that you would base an entire build around by itself. But if you need a 2-slot, if you need something powerful to save you a little bit of damage, then definitely something that can help you in the middle of a fight, as opposed to something like Scavenging, what Megaverse is running, that helps you throughout the game as a individual sustained type of post-fighting, well, sustained at that point. But anyway, getting back to the action here, we do see Megaverse doing a great job, and that's going to be a nice little Boulder Fall combo, going to seal out the Exile onto Shaco. That's going to be a huge pickup for Team Dark Horse. But as I say that, that's 2 members down. That's Iota and M-Dash from Team Pepega Dragon Pog Cannon, I believe. Actually, I might be wrong on that. That's actually Knockenclotcher. Going to go ahead and seal that one out here, as they are keeping it real with the rest of their team here, trying to say, hey, you exile one of my guys, I'm going to get 2 of yours. And Megaverse has to flee for his life. Going to rotate around the rest of his zone before it closes, trying to get as little damage done to him as possible. That's going to be a free res for Chaos, though. He will be back in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. And now it looks like Team Dark Horse is going to try to scrape together what they can. 10 people left in the game. Player 2 still down. They will get the res, but this is a risky position. They are all stuffed together. 1 DF could spell disaster, but it looks like they will get away with it. Now, bouncing the camera angle, we see Ilya spotted up on the side. His teammate Bullcut 44 is on another side of the high ground, and it looks like they're just waiting. Remember that they did lose Lavelle to a tragic situation. 4 kills onto Ilya, but it's really going to be a disadvantage being stuck without that last member. Teleport is his rune, it looks like, which is not exactly the greatest in these tight circle situations, but we'll see how he can make it work. Ilya hitting some nice sorceries right there, putting out some damage. Look at all that work right there as Bullcut actually disrupts Megaverse, and Ilya just laying out the burst, setting up Bullcut 44 to assassinate these targets. Ilya just not stopping here, OSK.
Man, he is not missing a fireball today. What has gotten into Ilya? Where was this 2 matches ago? Man, he is putting down some work. Now looking to get a little bit of recovery back. And speaking of recovery, that is nowhere to be seen on his kit either. That's Ambidextrous and Fervor. It's a little bit of a new one that I've seen here. I've tried it out in Clash myself. Not really playing a lot of BR nowadays, but man, proving that it can work in a squad environment, that is something. Now we're seeing Ilya kind of rotate off. He is the 1 remaining member of his squad, but it won't be enough. Shaco is picked back up on Team Knockenclotcher. This could be a real breakout game for them. Looks like Shaco has that legendary fire here, has the epic lightning. That's going to be some lightning strikes coming out, and that's a lot of damage coming out from the lightning. Not going to hit all of them there. Looking to get a little bit more, and M-Dash going to snipe that exile away from him. So it is almost a full squad of Knockenclotcher versus 1 remaining member. Who is this last person? We will have to see. That's going to be a quick stun, preventing the flight coming out. That's the wind-up animation, and that's Goldear going to seal out second place for Dapper Fellows, and that is the end of Qualifier number 7.
Yeah, GG's all around there. Knockenclotcher picking up a nice W to end off today's event. I don't think that was enough to shake Team Dark Horse off the first place finish, but nonetheless, still a great showing from that squad. We are just going to burn a little bit of time while we wait for the scores to get finally calculated, and then we will bring them up on stream to declare an official winner. But nonetheless, OSK, tell me a little bit about that final circle and the forced fights that we saw happen from it.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Just forced fights. This is exactly what you want to do. Ilya was forced to give up his dominant position there on that mountain. He was already down 1 member of his team. And then from there, if you're forced to take bad fights, I mean, it's just not going to be a good situation. It's a bad fight. You're putting yourself in so much unnecessary danger, but it's unfortunate for Ilya. He didn't really have a choice in the matter. Just trying to farm out as much damage as possible and trying to get as much combust damage as possible. We saw he had a pretty good showing, though. Definitely landing most of those fireballs that he is outputting out. So definitely nothing to shake your head at, but it's just unfortunate that he was forced off of that area that he was holding down so well, it looked like. And going into the latter part of that, we saw Knockenclotcher do a great job of just keeping that dominant position over there towards the western side of the zone. We saw them defend it pretty handily from Dark Horse, and they were able to carry it through for their victory. So excellent job of team coordination to all be on the same page as far as what we're going to defend and what we're not going to. And really just Just an overall great showing. Now, keep in mind here that Dapper Fellows, while they did get second place, their damage and their exiles are almost zero. So it will just be the placement points coming out for them. So I don't expect these standings to really change that much.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, one thing as casters, when an event ends, it is our job to break down what you guys saw, talk about all the teams involved and all the crazy action. But in this match, I feel like I don't even have enough time to tell you guys all the different interactions between these teams, the change in pace, the domination that Team Dark Horse started to pick up as the game went on. We saw in games 1 and 2, Team Dark Horse got exiled early. They always had good damage and good exiles, but it took them a little bit longer to build up that pace, to build up that confidence as a team of 3. And there's just so much to address here. I mean, we had in the last game, you guys saw Knockenclatcher play out to a win, and it wasn't just game 8. I think they played fantastic throughout the event. We talked a little bit about that Shay's Blaze squad with the 2 PS4 players overperforming and playing fantastic. Dapper Fellows as well. This was just been a qualifier full of diversity, and I love to see it.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't like we were talking a little bit before, like maybe this isn't as stacked as qualifier number 5 or number 6 was or whatever, but I am pleasantly surprised. There has been a lot more action than I would have expected going into qualifier number 7. Actually turned out to be one of our better qualifiers, if I do say so myself. So really just congratulations all the way around to all these teams that ended up coming out and giving us quite the show to watch and cast. It's been a very, very nice time being up here on the caster desk with you. Play safe. Been a very, very nice time commentating all of these fantastic plays that all these teams are coming out. And honestly, the score spread, not too spread out. It is a little bit, but like not that much, not as bad as it could have been. So with that, I do want to comment on Dark Horse. I know there's been a little bit of criticism going their way for naming themselves Dark Horse, but I do want to go ahead and lay out a little bit of facts for you. All 3 of the members on this team had previously played in a qualifier on different teams. And honestly, judging by the way that all of these qualifiers are going, none of them would have qualified with their team that they were previously on. So maybe that's the reason for Dark Horse. Maybe that's all of these players that haven't really made it into qualifiers yet, definitely getting a very, very high score. Hopefully together they will be able to seal out a nice place among our top 10 teams for the finals. Now, also keep in mind that whoever does finish first in this tournament will win $30, $10 per person going the way of the winners. So thanks to Proletariat for giving us those funds for this event. Of course, sponsored by Proletariat, and also the final prize pool of $1,500 going to our winners of the finals of the Element Fusion tournament. Now, plays, as we are getting these top 5 placements all typed out here, all ready for your viewing pleasure, let's talk about what you expect in these little finishes.
In the final scores, what I expect to see Team Dark Horse in the lead in the first place. I think they had a dominant showing throughout the entire tournament. As you were discussing, we had some teams show up and really challenge them on some matches. For example, we had SK Shaco's performance with Knockenclatcher. We saw Dapper Fellows come out with some beautiful matches. I was personally very impressed by Team Easy Clap, especially Raikota and Tiger 2K. I thought they played fantastic. But I mean, at the end of the day, Team Dark Horse played consistent throughout. There was not a single match in there other than maybe game 1 where I really felt like Dark Horse made mistakes. They played consistent, and that was the story of the event. That is enough to land you in first place when you have that type of showing. Player 2 with a pop-off. Chaos NY had a pop-off as well. So really interesting to see this type of event breakdown.
Yeah, and they were really doing a great job of just ramping up their score as it went on. We saw kind of weak showings from placements and actually a little bit of exiles coming out from game 1 and game 2, but really just went through and improved their performance all the way through. But without further ado, it's been long enough. We do have our top 5 scores ready. So let's go ahead and get them on camera for you guys. Let's see who made it out. Oh, wait, look at this. It is Dark Horse with over 3,000 points.
This is a very interesting spread of scores, though, I must say. You see Dark Horse in that first place, but Knockenclatcher was not too far behind. I know 600 points seems like a major gap, but considering what our commentary was coming into the event, a beautiful showing from Knockenclatcher. Dapper Fellows as well, Papega Dragon, Pog Cannon. Not only is their name incredible, but their gameplay came out very well.
Yeah, initially I was planning to actually show their mascot on screen, but I wasn't able to just because of the way that our webcams work. Of course, I'm sure that they'll be more than willing to share it in the general chat of Element. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Please do that because it's amazing. I'll do it if you don't. So definitely get a head start on that. But anyway, I just want to say great job to Dapper Fellows and Shays Belays as well for really showing themselves out here. It's not a small feat to hit 5th place or 4th place in our events, as again, these are some of the best players that come out from around the world in NA, EU, and for a while there from South America as well. So definitely a solid showing for all the teams involved. And it's just a really, really nice, nice thing to see that all these console players are coming out and really showing themselves up here. Now, if we can get to the breakdown of our stats here, we can go ahead and see who did the best in all of these beautiful categories. And we can see it's actually a little bit spread out here between Team Dark Horse and Team Knockenclotcher. So we have single game highest damage, single game highest exiles being taken from Knockenclotcher here. And the rest of these stats from total damage, total exiles, and average exiles going to go the way of Dark Horse. As you can see, the darker highlighted areas are the best in their category for squads, and the lighter highlighted areas are the best in their category for individual players. So Shaco doing a great job carrying his team to a 2nd place finish. And player 2, we talked about having the MVP status as coined by ourselves, really carrying his team to victory along with 2 of some of the best players we've seen come out here in the Element Fusion tournament. Great job all around.
And something, so when we discuss the MVP of the event, I definitely do think it goes to player 2, but at the same time, I don't think his pop-off could have been the same without the work that was put in by Megaverse and Chaos. I mean, we saw Chaos had a pop-off of his own, but Megaverse was almost like gluing together the squad. He was playing this frontline tank, absorbing the burst, and it just gets you very excited to see these types of compositions come in. We talked about how them as a team has not really scrimmed as a unit of 3 until very recently, but nonetheless, we saw some really great coordination coming out from them. So showing this graph right here, total team damage by percentage and number, and you really see how Dark Horse took an edge on a lot of these teams. The only one that could really compete with that output was Knockenclotcher.
Yeah, Knockenclotcher doing a great job of keeping it close there, as well as Pepega Dragon Pod Cannon on the team damage there. Definitely not an easy feat to keep up with Dark Horse in this particular tournament, but doing a great job nonetheless. You could see the damage coming out from Ilya, especially towards the end, and the rest of their team with Bowl Cut and Lovell especially doing a great job as well. I have just a little bit more breakdowns for you here, but in terms of the action, that is going to conclude the Element Fusion Qualifier number 7. Appreciate all of you guys coming out and supporting the competitive community the way that you are. And also, again, a big thank you to Proletariat for sponsoring this event. We'll have another qualifier coming out for you guys tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a few more stats to break down for you guys. The bars are the player total exile and the player total damage, as you can see there. But again, thank you guys for coming out, enjoying the action. If you would like to support the action and support all these prize pools for these wonderful players, you can donate there in the box below the stream. 70% of it will go directly to prize pools, while 30% of it goes to increased production value. The graphics team, the production squad, us up here at the caster desk, all around, just making the production a lot better for you guys. But that is going to end today's event. That's the Element Fusion Qualifier number 7. I will be back up here on the caster desk along with beautiful co-caster for Qualifier number 8. Again, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Play safe. I'll let you take it away from here, my dude.
Yeah, I mean, you got it all, man. We just got to wrap it up. That is the end of today's event. As OSK stated, there is another qualifier tomorrow. And we also just want to say thank you for everybody coming out supporting these events. You guys have been excellent viewers. I see the chat has been popping with all sorts of different analytical points and all sorts of conversations. So we love to see it. And again, thank you all for your support. We are going to be sending a raid off to somebody named Avian. He's been hosting some console scrims for the community, and we know that there's actually quite a high demand for console players to get in their own competitive events. Really great to see that type of initiative as well. I mean, we saw some of the players on PS4 come out and really pop off today. So make sure you show some love to Avian as we raid him, see what you can do to get involved in console scrims. And with that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow. And if we don't, take care.